Shalom, shalom, Israel. Shalom, his brother Raya.
Shalom, brother Hawad.
We want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashema Mashiach, Malak Yahushua. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that go out there and labor on the highways and byways, making their body living sacrifice. In the rain, the tumults, the demons, the uprises, the uproars, they're out there standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that are not out there as of yet, but they're building themselves up by reading, praying, fasting, being diligent, on fire for the Lord, doing everything they could do, taking notes to possibly put themselves in a position to shake the hand and wake up the hopeful elect. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty Akwaf in this thing that actually reverence their husbands, being teachers of good things to the children at home. You understand? Cooking, sewing, cleaning, doing all of the righteous things our ancient foremothers did that magnify the name of the Lord and help the ministry. Another strong shalom to all of the women that are not married as of yet, but they're building themselves up in the spirit by being shamefaced, cooking, submitting, doing everything they can do to help the ministry and the Lord. And last but not least, another strong shalom to all of the mighty children in this thing that are abstaining from all of the lust and peer pressure of the world, standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. You got it.
God, shalom, shalom. You want me to just kick it off?
Nah, let me pull this quick precept real fast. Right? And we in second Esdras, the 6th chapter. If you've been watching, we've been doing a continuation from the 1st chapter all the way to the 6th chapter. And through the spirit of the Lord, if it be his will, we're going to finish the whole book of second Esdras, going into all of the in-depth breakdowns, the secrets, the allegories of the end times. You got to be conversing and prophecies in these last days, man. Right? I'm going to kick it off with the book of Sirach, right? Chapter 39. Right? It's the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse number 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients and be occupied in prophecy. So if the Lord said, if you give your mind to the Lord, you're going to be occupied in prophecy. You're not going to be occupied in folly in this world. You're not going to be sitting up here trying to figure out stats and what's going on, man. You're going to be occupied in prophecy, end times, second Esdras, Revelations, Daniel, Ezekiel, Isaiah. You're going to be all in the midst of what's going to happen before it happens on the earth, man. This is very serious. It says, he will keep the sands of the realm, men, and where subtiles parables are, he will be there also. He will seek out the secrets of graven sentences and be conversant in dark parables. He shall serve among great men and appear before princes. He will travel through strange countries. For he have tried the good and evil among men. And that's the days we living in, to search out matters and prophecies in the last days. But we can go to 2nd Esdras chapter 6 and verse 1.
This is second Esdras, chapter 6 and verse 1. And it reads, And he said unto me, in the beginning, when the earth was made, before the border of the world stood, or ever the winds blew, before it thundered and lightened, or ever the foundation of paradise were laid, before the fair flowers were seen, or ever the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together, or ever the height of the air were lifted up, before the measures of the firmament were named, or ever the chimneys in Zion were hot, and the present years were sought out, and or ever the inventions of them that now sin were turned before they were sealed that have gathered faith for a treasure. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other.
Right. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 22. So we're going in depth to the beginning, man. We're going past, right, Adam. We're going past Elijah. We're going past Samuel. We're going all the way to the beginning of the Lord, man. He says, in the beginning. Now let's get an in-depth breakdown. You got Genesis, the 1st chapter. You got Proverbs, the 8th chapter. 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter. These are all chapters and precepts going into the beginning of the world. Let's go to Proverbs 8 and 22.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 8 in verse 22. And it reads, the Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. Verse 23, I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. When there was no depths, I was brought forth. When there was no fountains abounding with water, before the mountains were sealed, before the hills was, I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth, when he established the clouds above, when he had strengthened the fountains of the deep, when
Right,
he
and we can't even fathom all of this, man. Like that, like David said, such knowledge is too wonderful for me. I cannot obtain into it. In the book of Psalms, chapter 131 and verse 1. So this is past, you understand, what we know as it is, man. Before a man's breath was even formed, before his voice was even calculated, before hair even grew and man was even shaped, before grass even grew in the elements, the earth, the fire, the dust, the dirt, and all of the wind blew. This is talking about in the beginning, man. So literally, we're getting the in-depth breakdown, and Ezra is getting this from the very foundation. Each prophet may be given a certain amount through the Spirit. You know, Daniel, he may receive the end times in certain aspects. Second Esdras, you understand? Ezra, he's getting the in-depth breakdown from the beginning. You know, certain prophets, they get different portions, right? Now, I want to jump down to verse 29 in Proverbs 8 and 29. It says, when he gave the sea his decree that the water should not pass, his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth, then was I by him as one brought up with him, right? Talking about wisdom, which is Yahweh, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth, and my delights were with the sons of men, right? So that's going into the beginning. You got precept, King?
This is Micah chapter 5, verse 2. But thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, though thou be little among thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall come forth unto me, that is to be ruler in Israel, whose going forth have been from old, from everlasting. Right? So Yahweh Shah, like the brother going to, man, hey, Yahweh Shah been here from the beginning, man. Right? In Genesis 1, when it says in the beginning, and that's our beginning. You know, it's a it's things that happened prior before that, man. Right? So Yahweh Shah been here from everlasting. You got it.
That's right. We can go back to second Esdras 6 and 1.
Con. This is second Esdras chapter 6. Start at verse 1. Verse 1. And he said unto me, in the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, or ever the winds blew, before it thundered and lightened, or ever the foundations of paradise were laid, before the fair flowers were seen, or ever the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together, or ever the height of the air were lifted up, before the measures of the firmament were named, or ever the chimneys in Zion were hot.
Right.
And
Let me get this quick precept. This is the book of Psalms chapter 24 and verse right number 2. For he had founded it upon the seas and established it upon the floods. So the Lord wasn't just sitting up there and then things just happened. Right? We speaking things into existence. He formed it through Yahweh and the angels and the elements, and he brought all of this forth. So don't think the earth is just hanging around, man. This is not Esau's understanding and his physics. The earth is just spinning on a globe, right, like a damn basketball on a finger, man. That's folly, man. The Lord said, for we have founded it upon the seas. So upon all of this land, we have nothing but various oceans. The Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, right? All of these different, the Mediterranean seas. It says, and establish it upon the floods, right? So the Lord has all of this founded upon the seas. That's why when you read Genesis, the first chapter, there's certain creations that came first, all the way till you get to the last. Now, we're not going to touch or harp on too much in depthly going into that, because you know that's a breakdown all in itself. But you could read Genesis, the first chapter, to break that down. And the Lord said the innumerable amounts of angels. When you read the book, let me get this in Job real fast, chapter 25. It's the book of Job, chapter 25 and verse 3. Is there any number of his armies? So when the Lord says he's the Lord of hosts, hosts means armies. The Lord says that any number of his armies, and upon whom doeth not his light arise. So the Lord has, billions of angels, man. You have angels in the tabernacle of witness in the third heaven, angels without, angels that are the 24 elders, angels that are the four beasts. You have archangels. You have angels that stand in the sun. You have the angels over the seven churches, right? You have different angels and different archangels, which have different various offices, man. You got the cherubims, the seraphims. You got all of these different creatures, right? Some with 4 wings, some with 6 wings, all created by the Lord, man. You got the angel Gabriel, right? And his name means God is my strength, right? You got the angel Uriel, Michael, right? Raphael. And Uriel means angel of light. So in Ezra, when he's getting the breakdowns, right, he's getting it by Uriel, the archangel. And he's not sent down, because him and Michael was fighting over who should come down first. No, Uriel is literally the angel of light. So whenever there's a dark similitude or a parable or a prophecy, the Lord sent different archangels for different various offices to break these things down to the prophets. You got Michael, right, the archangel, right, the chief angel, right? He's named who is like God, man, because he's a warrior, and the Lord is a man of war, right? You got Raphael, which his name means healing. So whenever there's something to be healed on earth, you understand, or coming to pass, the Lord is going to send Raphael, right, which means healing of the Lord. So these different angels have different offices, man, and they're innumerable. You have angels over night terrors, demons over sex and concupiscence and lust. You got demons over mass manipulation and coons, and you got these different spirits and various offices, right, sent out on the earth for terror, man.
And I got a precept. This Revelation chapter 5, verse 11. And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beasts and the elders, and the number of them were 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands. Hey, and that's, you don't do the math on it and pull out your calculator. 1,000 is just a numerable number, man. Right? Like it said, you can't count how many angels there are. Right? Ecclesiastes chapter 6. Like Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse number 6. Okay, here we go. Ecclesiastes 6 and 6. Yea, though he live 1,000 years twice told, yet hath he seen no good. Right? And no man literally lives 1,000 years twice told. That 1,000 is just a spiritual number. You understand? Even in Psalms 91 and 7, it says, though 1,000 shall fall by my side and 10,000 on the other side, yet shall thou be delivered. Roughly paraphrasing, man. So 1,000 just a number of completion. And the soul number 10, the Lord said it's 10,000 times 1,000 times 10,000 angels, man. She got a king.
Con. This the book, right? This whole thing. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 10. It says, a fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open, man. So the Lord has heavenly councils, man, up there. And even when Moses got the commandments, it wasn't just given to him by Yahweh, like a lot of people just break it down to be. The Lord, he has a lot of things happening on beautiful fashion, right? It was literally 10,000s upon 10,000s of angels that came down with Yahweh to give the tables of stone, man. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 78 and verse number 17. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. So in Mount Sinai, there were 10,000 times 10,000. When it was thundering, when it was lightning, when all hell was breaking loose, man, and the Lord actually came down, he came down with those innumerable multitudes of angels, man. So, this is the creation, man, from the very beginning. And the Lord said, I wanted to touch on verse number 4. It says in 2nd Esdras 6 and 4, or ever the heights of the hair were lifted up before the measures of the firmament were named, right? The first, second, and third heaven, or ever the chimney and Sinai were hot, or ere the present years were sought out, and or ever the inventions of them now sin were turned. So this thing gets deep, man. It says, or ever, Salakia, it says, and ere the present years were sought out, man. Who is man to put time on the Lord? A time is a new thing, man. You think the Lord is sitting up there kind of counting how old? The Lord is the beginning and the end, man. He's the Alpha and Omega. The Lord doesn't have a birthday, man. A time in years is a beginning thing to man, because everything has to have birth or life through water and light in the beginning, but not the Most High. So the Most High even created years, man. It says, or ever the adventures of them that were now sin were turned before they were sealed that have gathered faith for a treasure. Talking about the elect. Then did I consider these things, that all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also shall they be ended, and by none other, man. So it's not going to be any strange God. It's not going to be any false prophecy or ideology that's going to come to pass other than the words of Yahushua, man. And Uriel, the archangel, the angel of light, is giving this to Ezra, talking about the last days. All right, you can read on from there, King.
Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 7. Well, I'll start at 6. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? What shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of that, so like of it that followeth?
Right, Jake want to know now what's the newest fashion, what's coming out, what's going on the next feast day, how much wine, what kind of wine are you going to drink, and what kind of bottles are you going to pop, man? Hey, the ancient men of the Lord, they sought out the end days. Let's go to Second Esdras chapter 4, right? Second Esdras chapter 4, right, in verse 45. Right, I'm going to read it. The Second Esdras 4 and 45, it says, shew me then whether there be more to come than is past, or more past than is to come. So Ezra was damn near pressing out Uriel the archangel, man. He wanted the breakdown. You know, you got certain men, they want it very bad. They're banging on the door. They're on all the lives. They're reading constantly. They're reading multiple books. They're taking down notes. They're taking their highlighter to it's running out of the ink. Hey, here, Ezra, he says, shew me then whether there be more to come than is past, or more past than is to come. What is past, I know. I mean, I know about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. I know about Samuel. I know about David. I know about all of the ancient men that were before me. But what is for to come, I know not. So you have to put your mind in the perspective of the ancient prophets. They didn't have John the Revelator. They didn't have a lot of books and things that we have. They were getting prophesied during this time, getting fed by the Lord Yahushua via the angels, man. And he said, look, I don't know what's fully coming to pass. So on a deeper level, man, hey, this generation is blessed. Blessed and should be stronger in faith than any of our forefathers. Abraham never had the book of Hebrews, man. He didn't have the book of Revelations. He didn't have all of these accounts of our forefathers that built up his faith and his strength for understanding and endurance, man. He didn't have all the mighty accounts of fasting, us coming together praying, the Lord delivering us from the Red Sea. He didn't have all of those things, man. Our forefathers were living in a moment, having faith in Yahushua. It says, and he said unto me, stand up upon the right side, and I will expound the similitude unto thee. So I stood and saw, and behold, an hot burning oven passed before me. And it happened that when the flame was gone by, I looked, and behold, the smoke remained still. After this, there were passed before me a watery cloud, and sent down much rain with a storm. And when the stormy rain was past, the drops remained still. Then said he unto me, consider with thyself, as the rain is more than the drops, and as the fire is greater than the smoke, but the drops and the smoke remaineth behind. So the quantity which is past did, so like it did more exceed. So if he told them, literally Ezra, in about 538 BC, how much more now, man? How much more now the times we living in to the end of the world? He told them, look, the past is already, it's almost finished. He's telling them this, man. You can read about that in 2nd Esdras, the 14th chapter. It says, think I prayed and said, may I live, thinkest thou, unto that time? Or what shall happen in those days? So after he already asked the question about the end days, what was Ezra's first reaction after getting the answer? He wants more. He wants more. It's never enough. The servants of the Lord want to know it all, man. They want to know the in-depth secrets. And the Lord isn't going to give secrets and parables unto a lazy man, a slothful man. He's going to give them to the diligent that's going to bear rule and teach the people, man. You wonder why certain people have positions there are. It's not because they're necessary work ethic and they don't necessarily want it. They not working harder than that next man. You got some people waking up in the middle of the night. You got some people, they're making their body a living sacrifice. That's not just talking about a camp. It's giving up reading, spending time with their children, their wives, making less money, right? And man, people actually devote their lives into this truth, man, just like our forefathers did. It says, then I prayed and said, may I live, thinkest thou, unto that time? Or what shall happen in those days? It says, what? He answered me and said, as for the tokens, right, whereof thou askest me, I may tell thee of them in part. So even the angels don't have everything because each angel is given a portion, just like each prophet. I mean, the angels don't know everything. Yahweh Shah doesn't even know when the Most High himself is going to give the decree. It says, but as touching thy life, I am not sent to shew thee, for I do not know it. Like I said, you got death angels, you got angels of the light, you got angels of healing. Each angel has his portion given unto the Lord via that angel. That's why he says, I'm not sent to shew thee. Right? So literally, you got the Uriel archangel letting Ezra know, man, hey, look, most of the world is already past. And it's living in the end days.
I got a precept. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall those things be? And what shall be the sign of the coming and of the end of the world? Hey, like the brother start off with Psalm 39 and 1. Hey, our forefathers was occupied in prophecies, man. They wanted to know when is the end of the world, right? When is the part and sunder of the time? It wasn't focused on folly. Damn, when the damn next 2K game come out, when the damn playoffs, whatever, gonna start, when foolishness, man. You understand? They wonder about when is the end of the world. You understand? Let me get the let me get this preset. This is 2 Peter chapter 3. Right, this is 2 Peter chapter 3. I'm gonna start at verse 13. Nevertheless, 2 Peter 3 and 13. If I'm gonna start at 12, 2 Peter 3 and 12, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of Yahweh. Hey, we looking for it, man. We're literally watching, waiting on. That's what we waiting on all. We're not just watching for the damn game. We're not watching just for anything. We're watching for the signs and the tokens so we can know when it's the end of the world, man. That's what we're looking for. It says, looking for and hasting unto the day, unto the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. Right? So we're looking for a new heaven and new earth, man. We're not looking for America to be here another 10 years. We're not looking to stock money into our damn 401ks. You understand? We're not looking for another 30 years. We're looking for new heavens and a new earth where dwell righteousness, where Yahweh Shah, David, the 12, the 144, the elect, all rule, man, in righteousness, man. That's what we're looking for. I got one more. This is Acts chapter 1 and verse 6. Acts chapter 1, verse 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom of Israel? Right. So they, like Jacob said, they kind of, thirsty, man. They're like, we ain't gonna do it, man. They're kind of getting on his nerves. They bugging him. He probably was like, they keep constantly asking. He probably got annoyed by it. They constantly asking him, hey, when are you going to restore the kingdom to Israel, man? You know what I'm saying? When are we going to look for new heavens and a new earth? Right, verse 7. And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times of the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power, but ye shall, kind of like the brother said, Yahweh Shah don't even know. Scripture says that the Most High Yahweh put that in his own power. Verse 8, but ye shall receive power after the Holy Spirit is come upon you. Ye shall be witnesses unto me in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth. So Yahweh shall let them know, like, it's a lot more prophecies that have to come to pass, man. It's a lot more prophecies. This gospel got to get spread throughout the four corners of the earth, etc., man. So, but our forefathers were always looking forward towards the end of the world, man.
Khan. That's a mighty point. And I want to touch on that too. In 2nd Esdras 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, man. The Lord command, that's a commandment. Stop thinking the commandments is only in the first 5 books, man. You got laws, statutes, commandments, ordinances, right? The last time I checked, the last time I read Deuteronomy, man, we're cursed because of statutes also, not just laws. So if the Lord literally said, man, if that will not keep these commandments and statutes, which I command thee this day. So I mean, if you're not watching, you break it, you're going off, man. Let's be honest. You're going off. If you're not sitting up there with the God, I mean, you got to be a spiritual watchman in this thing, man. That don't mean get the bug out kit. You go to Walmart, you banging on the back door, right? And after it's closed, and you put your toe in the midst of the door to keep it cracked, man. That's talking about. I mean, you want all the whistleblower sites, man. You're trying to figure this thing out. You're inching for this thing to come to pass. It says he answered me then, and only a man that's going to be watching is confident. If you're not confident, you're not going to be watching like other men are watching, man, because you have nothing to look forward to. Let's be honest. If somebody was going to give you, there was $1,000 giveaway, and it was shipping to your house, you will be watching. You'll be sitting up there. You'll be putting the tracking number in. You'll be calling the people. Hey, look, we told you it's on the way. And well, you guys just talk to you, right? Then they'll hang up on you. You keep calling them. Yeah, we told you it's on the way, right? They'll hang up on you, man, because that man is looking forward to something. If you looking forward to a new heaven, a new earth, righteousness, immortal bodies, everlasting life, I mean, literally slaves, dominion, and most importantly, being perfect, man, and being with your heavenly Father. If these things are on your mind, you should be looking forward to those things, man. It says, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he had made, man. The Lord's not up there asleep. The Lord's not up there forgetting about his creation, man. The Lord is sharpening his sword every single day. The Lord is angry every single day. The Lord is having prophecy to unveil every single day. And Jake that is not watching and not diligent, they're going to be put to death, man. It says what? Therefore, when they shall see seen earthquakes and uproars of the people and the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, man. So even from the beginning of the world, the Lord warned you. He warned you via the prophets. He warned you via the animals. He warned you via the servants of the Lord, man. There's no excuse in this thing. What excuse do you have? You got man that's prophesied. Hey, the Lord put the spirit on these damn Edomites to do news reports to let you know what's going on in earth all throughout the 4 corners, right on Fox 5, Channel 9 News, 12, right? These whistleblowers, these ex-army men and these sergeants, right? They're dropping out the army, letting you know what the hell is really going on, man. Don't you know that all hell is breaking loose? If you're not watching and getting down into this thing, then, I mean, you're getting caught up in the world, man. This world is very seducing and seductive and will pull you in it the moment your eyes start to be getting slumber and you stop watching, man. Let me get that in Psalm chapter 130. Right, it's one of my favorite precepts. It's Psalm chapter 130, right? In verse number 5. I wait for the Lord, my soul doeth wait, and in his word do I hope. I mean, if you don't have anything to hope and wait for, what do you wait? You're gonna fall out. Anybody that's not on the edge of their seats, they're gonna fall out. Why? Because they're gonna get sleepy. It says, my soul waiteth for the Lord more than they that watch for the morning. You know how impossible it is to watch for the morning? People end up falling asleep. You're looking at the sun come up, it's coming up extremely slow. Yeah, it's coming to pass. Hey, but you kind of looking, is this sun ever going to come up? You tired of watching for real? You hear all folly in the backyard and birds chirping and damn bottles breaking and people yelling. You start to get interested, start to turn around. Your focus gets off the main point of what you're watching, man. And then what happens? You start to get surfeited into this life, or two, you get tired of watching and you start to fall asleep. And what happens when you fall asleep? You're gonna be asleep for a long time. By the time you wake up, that sun is gonna be up, man. The Lord said, my soul watcheth for the Lord more than they that watch for the morning. I say more than they that watch for the morning. Let Israel hope in the Lord, for with the Lord there is mercy, and with him is plentiful redemption. So at the end of this thing, it's redemption. It's life, it's hope by waiting and watching, man. You got it, King.
Hey, and I was thinking about Acts the 20th chapter when Paul was preaching for a long period of time, the man fell asleep and fell out the damn window, man. You know, hey, spirits that can happen to brothers, man. This is Acts chapter. I'm talking about Acts, Revelation chapter 6 and verse 9. And it reads, and when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Yahweh and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, doest thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? Right? During the time of Jacob's trouble, those who are martyrs for Yahweh Shah because of the testimony and the prophecies, hey, they want to know how long it's gonna take, man. You know, so not only us on the earth, even Abel, man, when he got slain by his brother, his blood cried out. Like you also read in Second Esdras the 15th chapter. So hey, your blood cry out. You want to know, hey, when the Lord gonna redeem us, man? When the Lord gonna pay vengeance to those that shed our innocent blood? So everybody's waiting. All the saints and the righteous men, women, and children of the Lord are waiting for the second coming of Yahweh Shah, man. She got it.
Con. I'm about to go to 2nd Esdras chapter 2 and verse number 10. 2nd Esdras 2 and 10. Thus saith the Lord unto Ezra, tell me my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel. Their glory also will I take unto me, and give these the everlasting tabernacles which I have prepared for them. The Lord has things already prepared. It's not like the Lord put you on earth. He put you on earth, because he's sitting up there working on the kingdom. As soon as he's finished with the kingdom, he's going to give it to you. You're sitting up there sweating and watching. No, things are already prepared. Life, peace, endurance, and medicine, and everlasting life. It's already prepared, man. We talking about the King of Kings. We're not talking about a damn idol, man. We're not talking about a superhero action movie. We're talking about the Most High God, which creates your mind, your thoughts, which has you to be in the spirit or out of the spirit, which send demons on you, which send demons off of you, which raises the dead, man, which giveth men spiritual powers, understanding, which leadeth men into everlasting life from old, and which had literally the elect in the palm of his hand from the foundation of the earth, man. The Lord has things already prepared for you. It says what? They shall have the tree of life for an ointment of sweet savior. They shall neither labor nor be weary, man. So you're not going to labor anymore in the kingdom. You're not going to have to worry about sweating. You're not going to have to worry about terrors. You're not going to have to worry about vengeance. You're not going to have to worry about killing and oppression and murder and envy and strife and railings and emulation and variance and then fornication and adultery and all the workings of the flesh, man. You're not going to have to worry about those things. The Lord said, go and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days. How many people are praying for all hell to break loose, man? Praying for the C pox to continue to spread and the M pox to continue to spread. Praying that 19 damn circles the whole globe, man. Pray that wildfires kill children. I mean, who's really in that mind state like the Father, man? Like, oh, I don't pray for that. Oh, I don't want to get into all of that, man. Oh, now you touch it. You're ruffling my feathers. No, the Lord is a man of war. We serve an ancient God that literally is with vengeance, man. The Lord's with killing people. The Lord's with overthrowing mountains. The Lord's with killing damn children, man. The Lord said, "One of the righteous ever perish, man." So whoever died, whoever's sick, whoever's in a hospital bed, whoever got flipped over by a car, Bashima Mashiach Yahushua, man. Because the Lord wouldn't let nothing happen to the elect nor his people, man. You have to understand that. The Lord said, pray for a few days. So all the terrors that's going on in the earth, you should pray 7 times more that those things kick off, man. It says, unto you that ye may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch, man. So the Lord said the kingdom's already prepared. So pray for fewer days. Don't pray that this society and these wicked Edomites continue in rulership, because that's essentially what it is. The more you wait and the more you're relaxed in the society, the more you want your oppressor to rule over you.
God, I got precept. This is Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 14. For here have we no continuing city, but we seek one to come. Right. So and you gotta be a visionary in this thing, man. Like the scriptures also say, look for things, that are don't look for the things which are seen, but for the things which are not seen. And then also scriptures say better is the end of a thing. So you want to look towards that end, right? This is a race, right? So when you at a race, you look towards the finish line. You don't slow down when you get to the line. You looking straight at that finish line the whole time, being singled out, right? And that's the spirit we gotta be in, and we run through that that finish line, man. Right? So brothers gotta have to be kind of like visionaries in this thing, and they looking ahead, looking forward. You understand? Not like Lot's wife looking back. Let me get this. This is Isaiah chapter. Okay, here we go. Isaiah chapter 63 and verse. I'll start at verse 3. Isaiah 63 and 3. I have trodden the winepress alone. Speaking on Yahweh Shai. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood should be sprinkled upon my garment, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the years of my redeemed is come. Hey, so Yahweh Shah said the day of vengeance is in his heart, man. So he's thinking about it, man. You thinking about the end. The angels thinking about the end. The apostles, the prophets, the men of the Lord, and Yahweh Shah himself, everybody's thinking about the end. Everybody's thinking about the end. Only people that's not worried about the end is the damn, like the brother said, the slothful. The 2/3, Esau. Esau want this kingdom to last forever and to continue on, man. So we're the only ones, the righteous men of the Lord willing, we are that elect. The elect are the ones that's gonna be thinking about the end, right? Another quick precept: Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18 and verse 15. Thine almighty word leaped down from heaven out of thy royal throne as a fierce man of war into the midst of a land of destruction. So in ancient Egypt, Yahweh started and said, I guess it's my time. Let me go here. He wasn't slothful. He made haste. He leaped, man. You leaped. You've been waiting for this, right? You've been waiting on it, man. Like damn, come home and the kids run to the door. They've been waiting on you, man. That's how Yahweh Shai is, man. He leaps from his throne into a land of destruction, man. And that's going to happen again, man, where he's waiting. He's, like I said, the Lord's angry every day. You get angry, you kind of get fed up. You know what I'm saying? You kind of waiting for vengeance, man, waiting to do something about it. You understand? So the Lord been waiting for a long time, man. Hey, when it's finally that time, he's going to leap to the nation. Got it.
And I want to bring out this last precept. This Ecclesiastes 7 and 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. So better is the end, man. I mean, if somebody asks me, what would you rather see, the creation, right, or the destruction? I want to see the destruction, man. I want to see the end of that thing, man. Yeah, the beginning was beautiful. I mean, to behold those things are imaginable, right? But nevertheless, the Lord says better is an end, man. You're sitting up there born. People like, oh, look at the baby. They want to hold the baby, rocking the damn. The baby's in hell, man. The baby got born into hell, literally. Now they have to literally get a job. They have to pay taxes. They're going to be oppressed. They're going to be under curses. This is the beginning of hell on earth for them, man. This is not anything to rejoice. Hey, but actually when they go home and they literally in the third heaven, like Job, the third chapter, where there is no voice of the oppressor, there is no violence, there is no more wicked communication or vile activity or slothfulness or all manner of lust, man. That's when you're at rest. So we want to be at rest, man. The saints have been beaten down and trodden underfoot too long, man. We can go back to second Esdras.
This is second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 7. And it reads, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
And that's on every type of level, man. That's on every single level that literally Esau is the end of the world. I'm going to get this quick precept. I'm about to go to second Esdras, right? Chapter 12 and verse number 23. Second Esdras 12 and 23. It says, in his last days shall the Most High raise up three kingdoms. It says what? In the last days. The last days is the time we living in now, man. We're living in the time of the end. And we're living in a time where the Most High is rising up these damn kingdoms, man. It says, and renew many things therein, and they shall have dominion over the earth. America has dominion over the earth. You understand? You're going to have EU reigning partnering side with a short season with America, and Russia coming shortly after. So these kingdoms, even in prophecy, right, are the last ruling kingdoms that are going to rule the earth, man. So Esau literally is the end of the earth. Don't think that you're going to have a damn 97 more years here, man. 200 more years here. 400 more years here. This is the end. I mean, on every level, what more do we need to tell Jake? I mean, we know who the Edomites are. The cat is out the bag. We know what empire we living in, Babylon the Great. The cat is out the bag. We know that prophecy is kicking off and pestilence is all throughout the earth. We can link that up through scriptures. That, I mean, is what is the secret anymore? Let me get this precept, man, in Colossians. I mean, what more don't we know? I mean, at this point, if Jake get caught out there, they deserve to die. This is the book. Shalaki, bear with me. Pull this quick precept. Romans. All right, Shalaki, bear with me. This Romans chapter 16 and verse number 26. But now is made manifest, and by the scriptures of the prophets, according to the commandment of the everlasting God, made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. So the Lord says, but now is made manifest by the scriptures of the prophets. Things are not secrets anymore. Now, if you would have caught Jake 120 years ago, they would have been seeing through, a glass. It's extremely blurry. They don't know if that was a bicycle in the garage or a damn van. They're trying to figure out the matter. Is this a box or is this a tire? No, man. Now the prophets, the Lord is waking up the prophets. I mean, all throughout the four corners, you got the mighty men, boots hitting the ground, shaking the hand, prophesying in part. You have certain men that the Lord raised up. He raised up disciples, which are students. He wanted under elders. He raised up evangelists, people that's spreading out the flyers. He woke up pastors, which lead flocks. He set up apostles, which travel and do the ministry of the world. He set up literally prophets, which prophesy dark prophecies that man doesn't know about. The Lord has given all, you understand? Like you read about in Ephesians, the 4th chapter. The Lord has woken up his men in the last days. And I mean, where's literally the vision being blurred anymore, man? I want to touch on one quick other precept, right? Shalaki, bear with me. It's the book of Shalaki, this is the book of Colossians, right? Chapter 2, Shalaki, chapter 1 and verse 26. Even the mystery which have been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints. So these secrets of the times and what times we living in, the seals, the trumpets, and all of these things are being made manifest in the last days. So there's no excuse. The Lord told you what the end of the world was. You got it.
Come. This is Sirach chapter 10 and verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Hey, and that's what's going to happen, man. The kingdom is really going to be taken away from one nation of people and given to another nation of people, man. Why? Because of wickedness, of the evil, say uh, innocent blood being shed, theft, robbery, rape, murder. You understand? Idol worship. You understand? So because of that, the Lord is going to take the kingdom, basically take it from Esau's hands, man. No kingdom lasts forever, man. Everybody, like they say, what goes up must come down. Esau had his rulership, and now it's going to be, given to the saints. This is Jeremiah, I believe, verse 27. Right. we go. This is Jeremiah chapter 27, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that the nation and kingdom which will not serve the same Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and they will not Slakia. I want it. Slakia, that's not it. You got it. You got it, King.
Let me bring these precepts out. This Proverbs chapter 15 and 24. The way of life is above to the wise. So the Lord said, hey, look, man, the way of life is above. It's not on earth. Stop looking straight forward all the time, man. Trying to figure out what the hell your neighbor's doing, and your sister, and your mother, and your children, and your husband, and your wife. And you're trying to figure out what's down the road 10 years from now, man. The Lord said the way of life is above to the wise, and that he may depart from hell beneath. So we want to depart from hell beneath. Don't you know when we get beamed up, we're leaving hell, man? Lord said that we may depart from hell beneath, man. We want to leave this place. This is actually hell, according to the Bible, man. And anybody wants to continue to be here is going to get burnt up in it, man. You got it.
I don't got nothing. You got it.
Okay, come on. We can go back to it.
Yeah. This second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 9. And it reads, For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Esdras, asked thou not. I answered then and said, O Lord, that bearest rule, if I have found favor in thy sight, I beseech thee, show thy servant the end of thy tokens, whereof thou shouldest showest me part the last night. So he answered and said unto me, Stand up upon thy feet, and hear a mighty sounding voice. And it shall be as it were a great motion, but the place where thou standest shall not be moved. And therefore, when it speaketh, be not afraid, for the word is at the end, and the foundation of the earth is understood. And why? Because the speech of these things trembleth and is moved, for it knoweth that the end of these things must be changed.
Right, it says, and why? Because the speech of these things trembleth and is moved, for it knoweth that the end of these things must be changed. Hey, Jake got to get ready for change, man. I mean, change is inevitable, man. We change every day without trying. Our face change. We age every day. We're supposed to be learning something new every day. That's why experience teaches wisdom. Right? This thing is inevitable to come to pass, whether you want it to or not. Every single day you wake up, you're more and more to the end of the world, man. And Esau knows it. That's why gas prices are through the roof. That's why it's hard to get a job now, man, or keep a job. That's why it's literally no food in the storehouses. People are stocking up. I mean, if you can't perceive that these elites know the time, I mean, what are you doing, man? We're the children of the light. We're supposed to be one step ahead, not only with knowledge, with vision, with understanding, and with the Lord. I mean, how do you see in a dark place through the light? What is the light? Yahweh Shah. These commandments, this word. That's the only way you're going to be able to navigate through this dark and wicked place, man, called Babylon. Now, if you get wild and you sitting up there, you putting light for evil and evil for darkness, and you sitting up there, you mixing up all the elements, and you getting enticed, the Lord's gonna kill you, man. It says, I want to touch on the I'm gonna start at verse 12. It says, I beseech thee, shew thy servant the end of thy tokens, whereof thou shewest me part the last night. So soon as he got up the next morning, he begging him for some more breakdowns and more understanding. It says, so he answered and said unto me, Stand upon thy feet and hear a mighty sounding voice, man. I want to link that up real fast. The Lord said, hear a mighty sounding voice. Now, I'm going to go to the book of Ezekiel, right? This whole thing is fire. Y'all ain't going to read this whole account, but nevertheless, when you read it, Ezekiel the 10th chapter, Ezekiel the 1st chapter, and Revelations, this whole thing, I ain't gonna make this a whole breakdown. But I wanted to read Revelation chapter 10, and I'm gonna start at verse number 3. And cry with a loud voice, as when a lion roareth, and when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices, man. So when the Lord is speaking, he's crying out, man. All hell break loose. It's like thunder, like it was on Mount Sinai, like in reading about in the book of Exodus, right? Chapter 20 and verse 18, Exodus chapter 19, 19 and 19, when the trumpets waxed stronger and his voice got louder. Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 13, one we just read. Various other precepts about a voice being louder and louder and waxing louder, man. Like the Almighty when he speaketh. So you got it, King.
I just wanted to bring out this quick another precept about the Son of the Times. This second Esdras chapter 4 and verse 27. And cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee. For the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. Right. So evil have been sown here in Babylon the Great. You know, there's a like in Isaiah 19, there's a perverse spirit in Egypt, man. So there's a perverse spirit here. Sodomy is here. You know, fornication, adultery, wickedness. You know, theft, murder. Evil have been sown here. Blood been shed. Right. So it's a lot of evil and wickedness. A damn mass shootings out in Buffalo. A lot of evil have been sown here in Babylon the Great, and it says, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. Hey, so that's really why we're looking forward to the destruction, man. You know, you even sometimes we deal with Jake on the highways and byways, and they don't want America to be destroyed. You know, and they don't. You know, they might say, you know, the Edomites never did nothing to me. Hey, you can put that to the side, man. At the end of the day, we want everlasting life. If you want everlasting life, then you want by default you want America to be destroyed. If you want to sit in power and rulership and you want freedom, by default you want America to be destroyed. Right? Because it says, verse 29, if therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. Right? You're not going to split America up in half and have the righteous on half and the evil half, man. This place got to go first, and then righteousness can rule, man. Right? So that's why we're looking forward and hasting to the day of Yahweh Basham Yahushua, man.
Right. And another quick point is a lot of Jake, they forgot who they serve, man. We serve an ancient God, man. We don't serve, we got Americanized when we came to this land. No man has literally seen death. No man has put somebody to death with a sword. Nobody has seen somebody hung and stretched to pieces and beat and flayed and whipped and sawed in half like the ancient apostles, like Matthew thrust through with a sword, Mark ripped right through horses, right? Andrew beat and flayed by 7 men. We never saw these things. So Jake, they're Americanized. We serve an ancient God of war, man. And guess we're made in his image. You have to understand we're made in the Lord's image. So if you're not made in the image and if you're not moving in the spirit of the Lord, you have your father, the devil. And the lust thereof you will do. So if you're not moving in that spirit, you're going to be left behind or be an adversary in the way. Because adversary just means a stumbling block. You're in the way. You're an adversary. So if you don't want the words of the Lord to come to pass, the Lord's going to kill you, man. Because you'll be an adversary in his way. Just wanted to bring that out. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 12 and verse 25. For I am the Lord, I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass. It shall be no more prolonged. For in your days, O rebellious house, I will say the word and will perform it, saith the Lord. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say the vision that he seeth is for many days to come. And a lot of people say that, man. Oh, you've been prophesied. I had Eve tell me right on the comment board, if I had $1 every single time you said all hell will break loose, I would be rich, man. Right? Well, she's not going to make it. I had somebody literally tell me, Orion, stop pressing people out to be on fire. Stop pressing people out. You're going off. Stop bullying people to be on fire. Stop saying that over and over, man. And we're gonna keep saying it over and over, man. Because if you don't, you're gonna die. We're not nice guys, man. When did Jeremiah ever speak smooth things? When did Isaiah ever bowed down his head to the wicked, man? When did anybody that was ever of any relevance on the right-hand side that the Most High used for righteousness, a vessel as a sword in his word, when did they ever bow down or care about what men think, man? They never did. If anything, Amos got thrown out the city, man. Jeremiah got put in the stocks. Man, these men got jumped, man. The apostles, they got thrust through in these different places that they went to do the ministry. So this isn't a nice life we live. If we're in this truth, we have to know that there's vengeance, bloodshed, death, retribution. All hell's going to break loose. And it starts now moving towards the end. And if you're not mentally gearing up your mind, understanding what's going to come to pass, then you're going to be left behind. And this thing is mental as well. It's spiritual and it's mental. You got a lot of men, they may work a job. And it may not be a stressful job, but just the mental ability of it, of waking up at 4:30 every morning, they can't do it. Their mental can't handle it. And a lot of people, they may feel like, yeah, I can do it. I have faith. But when it comes down to it, their mental isn't right. And you got to be all in this thing, your spirit, your mind. You got to serve the Lord with all your heart and your soul, man. Right? And I wanted to read on from there. It says, Son of man, Salakia, behold, they of the house of Israel say, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come. And he prophesied of these times that are far off. Therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, there shall none of my words be prolonged anymore, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord God. And I want to make a quick point too. Isaiah, when he prophesied it, he had a time limit or a time that it came to pass. Let me go to Isaiah real fast, the 16th chapter. So when these ancient prophets prophesied it, they said within 2 years, within 3 years, it would come to pass. Within that would come to pass. And they spoke it. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 16, and verse 14. But now, saith the Lord, Salaki, but now the Lord have spoken, saying, within 3 years, as the years of an hireling, and the glory of Moab shall be contemned, with all the great multitude, and the remnant shall be very small and feeble. So when Isaiah was out there prophesying, he said within 3 years. Now, no man right now can say within 5 years, within 10 years, within 9 months, this is going to come to pass. Nevertheless, our forefathers were on a different level. They can literally prophesy the exact year things were going to come to pass. I want to get another precept on that. This Isaiah 21 and verse number 16. For thus, Salakia, have the Lord said unto me, within a year, according to the years of an hireling, and all the glory of cedar shall fail, man. So Isaiah was in the spirit. He knew exactly when time was going to come to pass, when certain things and prophecies were going to unroll themselves. That's why the Lord can't tell man that now. If you knew when all hell would break loose, you'll relax. 14 months from now, oh man, they'll cut off their life, they'll drink themselves to sleep, and they'll figure that thing out when it comes, man. That's why the Lord commanded his true servants to watch, man. You got it.
Get Amos chapter 6, verse 3, right? The classic. Amos 6 and 3. Ye that put far away the evil day, and cause the seat of violence to come near, that lie upon beds of ivory, and stretch themselves upon their couches, and eat the lamb out of the flock, and the calves out of the midst of the stall. Right, so some men put up far away the evil day, man. Some man think this is gonna happen, my great grandchildren may have to go through that. My great great grandchildren. That's what they think, man. And because they don't fear the Lord, they don't believe that this thing can happen like a thief in the night. They stretched up upon the bed. They kind of leaning back. They chilling, living their best life. You understand? Eating and drinking and buying and selling, marrying, getting to marriage. They having they just living it, like I say, you only live one spirit, man. Living their best life and not with no care in the world. The last thing that's on their mind is Yahweh Shah coming back, cracking the sky with his angels and causing death and destruction. It says that lie upon the beds of ivory and stretch themselves upon their couches and eat the lambs out of the flock and the calves out of the midst of the stall. That chant to the sound of the viol and invent to themselves instruments of music like David. Hey, so men, like I said, they turning up, they leaning, chilling, they eating good, they damn listening to music all day. It says that drink wine in bowls and anoint themselves with the chief ointments, but they are not grieved for the affliction of Joseph. Right, so they're not worried about what's going on, man. They're not worried about the end times. They're not watching. Right, they dancing and singing like David, man. You got it.
We can go back to second Esdras 6 and verse 18.
Come. The second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 18. And it said, Behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth, and will begin to make inquisition of them. Would they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled.
Right, so there's literally an affliction that has to be fulfilled, man. The trodden down of the Gentiles. The Lord weighs everything in the balance, man. Let me get this in second Esdras chapter 4. Right, this is the book of second Esdras chapter 4 and verse 35. It says, did not the souls also of the righteous ask questions of these things in their chambers, saying, how long shall I hope on this fashion? When cometh the fruit of the floor of our reward? And unto these Uriel the archangel gave them answer, and said, even when the number of seeds is filled in you, for he hath weighed the world in the balance. So all the wickedness has to come to pass, all the fornication, the lies, the theft, the murder, the envy, all of these different sins, everything has to come to pass, man. And the wickedness is weighed in a balance. Right, let me get this quick precept in Revelation, the 14th chapter. It's Revelation chapter 14 and verse 19. It says, and the angel thrust his sickle into the earth and gathered the vine of the earth and cast it to the great winepress of God, man. So, I mean, that thing is literally ripe at that point. It says, verse 18, and another angel came out of the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud voice. It's like a loud cry unto him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe, man. So you don't pick fruit when you hungry. You pick it to enjoy it when it's ripe. Like Song of Solomon 7 and 7, right? Like big clusters of grapes, man. You don't want to have an apple it's not fully ripe. A pineapple. You understand? You don't want to have these different pomegranate fruits and they're not fully ripe, man. And the Lord is brewing up every day, and all hell was breaking loose, and all the wickedness has to reach to a peak, right? You got a precept?
Uh,
We can go back to it. Come.
Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 19. And will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together.
Right. There are many books in the third heaven. There isn't just a book of life, man. Right? There are many books. Right? Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 139. There's a book of your members, a book of remembrance, right? A book of everlasting life, whether you're in it or not. There are various books in the third heaven, man. Let me get this quick precept. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 139, right? And I'm gonna start at, I mean, this whole thing is crazy, but I'm gonna start at 16. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being imperfect, and in thy book all my members were written. So the Lord has a book where all your members are written, from your eyelashes to your nose structure, to how much you're going to weigh, to how many hairs is going to be on your head. And the Lord scribed all of that thing out before you were even born, man. Your skin complexion, your tribe, who you actually are, your width to your shoulders. You understand? To how the size of your feet, to the sound of your voice. All of those things are constructed and written in the third heaven, man. And you even go to your doctor, and your doctor may say, when you get older, you'll be about 5'10", about 170 pounds. Right? How in the hell does he know that, man? And some of those things are witchcraft, and they come true, man. I mean, they even know those type of things. The doctor say, well, you know what? You won't be able to walk. And sometimes you will never be able to walk again, man.
The
They
weather,
have their charts. You said what, King?
the weatherman.
Yeah, the weatherman. Yeah, excellent point, man. You got the weatherman. He's sitting up there in the damn button room. Just 1,000 buttons, man. Clicking them all. Trying to figure out what the hell is going to happen the next day, man. And he gets it right sometimes, man. I mean, they'll tell you it's going to rain from 5 o'clock all the way to 9 o'clock, man. How the hell do they know these things? You telling me the Most High God, doesn't know all of that, man? And the Lord knows everything. How many hairs is on your mustache? So he has different books in the third heaven. It says which continuance and with fashion, when as yet there were none of them. It says, how precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God. How great is the sum of them. Right, you got it.
Malachi 4 and verse 16. Then they that fear the Lord spake often one to another in the Slack. This is Malachi 3 and 16. Malachi 3:16. Then they that fear the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that fear the Lord and that thought, that thought upon his name. Like the brother said, you got a book of remembrance, man. And many books in the third heaven, you know what I'm saying? Hey, for those, like I said, that fear the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. So you got it.
Con, this Revelations 13 and verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. So you have the book of life, and in the book of Jeremiah, the 17th chapter, you have a book where the angel, he writes down all of your sins. Jeremiah 17 and verse 1. Let me get that real fast. It's Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 1. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron. So, I mean, what is he writing this in, man? Is he getting a ball pen and just writing it on his hand? No, he's writing it in a book. So you have literally a book of all your sins. Imagine that book, man. Now, Jake may want it to hold my book. It's about 7 pages. I've been a good guy. I've been diligent. I've been steadfast. But if you could see your book may be taller than you, man. The pages. It may be just about taller than you. It could be taller than the tree. You have to understand, Jake. I mean, what you live? 17 years of your life, 35, 52. You know how much sin you have literally mustered up over those years, those months you sin every day, your thoughts, your actions, your mind. All of these things are being written down. There are multiple books. And if you don't get those blotted out, amen. I mean, what are you going to do? You're not going to make it. You got it.
You want to go back to second Esdras?
We can go back to it.
This is second Esdras chapter 6.
Salaki, I'm going to pull one more precept. Right. It's 1 Samuel chapter 10 and verse 25. Then Samuel told the people the manner of the kingdom and wrote it in a book and laid it up before the Lord. And Samuel sent all the people away, every man to his house. So, I mean, you have ancient men. They wrote down things of the Lord. I mean, even the books of the Bible. So there are multiple books, man. It's not just the book of life. You have multiple books of the Lord, man. I just wanted to bring that out again. You got it.
This is second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 20. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show thee tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. And the children of a year old shall speak with their voice. The two men with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up.
Right. That's not talking about at 3 months old, your children are going to start speaking. That's not what that's going into, man. You have to understand, ancient end to what we're reading about is going into Jacob's trouble in the end days. And the Lord, like the Lord said in the book, let's go to it. In Matthew chapter 24, woe unto them that give suck. So there are going to be some women out there that have had children that it should be impossible for them to survive. And this is going into that the Lord is going to make a way out of nowhere. And he's going to turn everything upside down. You're going to have storehouses that were full, but they're going to be empty. You're going to have children that were born. They're going to have to be able to speak and survive and be nourished. Certain things that seemingly be that are impossible are going to be possible in those days, man, if the Lord is with you. Let's go to the book of Matthew. right? Chapter 24. And that's I'm gonna start at 18. It says, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day, man. So the Lord saying, woe meaning death and destruction to those that give up, meaning just have children. Because it's going to be hard. You want children, they crying, they yelling, they got feces all on them. They I mean, let's be honest, man. That urine is everywhere. You're trying to figure out, do you leave your child or not? I mean, you're going to have certain people that double mind. They're going to want to eat their children. This thing is going to get real. The Lord said in verse 21, and the children of a year old shall speak with their voices, and women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. So the Lord's going to have mercy on certain people in those days, in the days of the siege, in the days of the Jacob's trouble, in the days of all hell breaking loose, and he's going to have things come to pass. I'm going to get a quick precept in 2nd Esdras 5 and verse, I'm going to start at 6. It says, and even he shall rule whom they look not for, that dwell upon the earth, and that fowl shall take their flight away together. And the Sodomite sea shall cast out fish and make a noise in the night, which many have not known. So a lot of things are going to be happening which men have not known, which men have not seen. And it's going to bug a lot of Jake out, man. I mean, what if you had a child or you had your wife or your children? I mean, it's impossible for Elijah to literally eat that morsel and he'd be good for 40 days. It's impossible for him to be fed by ravens. It's impossible for untimely children to be born without the proper care and the proper things that they need and still be able to live and survive. It says in verse 8, there shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire should be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. So all hell's going to be breaking loose, and things are going to be changing their habitations, and things are going to be upside down. That's all it's saying, right? I'm going to read that again. The children of a year old shall speak with their voices, right? The women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. Right. And verse 22 is further explaining that. You can read on from there, unless you got a precept.
Yeah, I got a quick precept. It's Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 1. The word of the Lord came also unto me, saying, thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons nor daughters in this place. For thus said the Lord, concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land, they shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth. And they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcass shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth. Right, so there's gonna be a lot of dead bodies, man. And like the brothers was going into, man, hey, it may seem that it's not wise to get a wife. It may seem it's not wise to have children. You worry about your child. You can't even walk. You can't talk. Jacob's trouble around the corner. Hey, but the Lord, like the brother said, the Lord can make things happen, man. It's like you said, 1 Kings 19 and 1 Kings 17. Ravens don't come and give you cake. You know what I'm saying? That don't usually happen, man. Or
Right.
or the angels don't make you food. That don't usually happen. In Acts 12, the angels came and broke Peter out of jail, out of prison, man. That don't usually happen. Where an angel break you out the right in between two guards, angel break you out of prison. These things don't usually happen, man. Or in 2 Kings 6 and 14, where Elisha was surrounded by the army, man. But he says it's more with us than it is of them, because he had angels encamped around about him. You understand me? So in that day, man, hey, like you said, 3 to 4 months old, hey, Esau don't even know the gender of your child at 3 months when you're only 3 months pregnant. They don't even know if it's a boy or girl yet. You understand? Woman 3 months pregnant, have a baby, that's baby usually not gonna make it. Hey, but in that day, the Lord gonna make things happen for us, man.
Come, we can read on from there. And verse 22 further explains it.
Come. Second Esdras 6 and verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places come, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty.
Right, everything is going to be opposite. That's what the Lord is going into. Right, I'm gonna go to Second Esdras 5 and verse number 9. It's saying the same thing. If you want to precept these same accounts back to back, the Second Esdras chapter 5 verse 9, it says, "And salt water should be found in the sweet." Does that mean that the salt waters are literally going to change their habitations and be found sweet? They're physically going to be found sweet. All of the salt waters around all of the world is going to be found sweet. No, because even when you look, the salt waters and the fresh waters, they never cross one another. If you've ever seen a literally video or something, they'll have a line between the fresh water and the salt water, and they never intermingle. It says, "And the salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into the secret chamber." Right? So all things are going to be backwards. Right? I want to get another quick precept in the book of James, the 3rd chapter. It's James chapter 3, right? And verse number 12, right? I'm going to start at 11. "Doeth a fountain send forth at the same time place sweet waters and bitter?" Meaning no. But the Lord said in those days it is going to happen. But that's not physical. And he's going to have things upside down. It says, "Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? Either a vine, figs? So can no water, so like a fountain, both yield salt water and fresh." But yet the Lord said it was going to come to pass. Just another precept letting you know that a lot of these things, they are not physical. You know, the Lord is speaking in similitudes and allegories, saying that the world that you see to have root is going to be out of course.
This is Second Esdras chapter 15 and verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread for great tribulation. Right, so there's gonna be a famine in this thing, man. A famine gonna happen where men gonna fight one against another. Families gonna turn on each other. You know, hey, like I said, family, friends, your mother, your cousins, your husband or wife. Your damn next door neighbor. You don't see a different side of your next door neighbor coming soon, man.
Right,
You
right.
see a different side of your parents, right? This is Baruch chapter 2 and verse 1, and it reads like Baruch chapter 2 and verse 1. And it reads, "Therefore the Lord hath made good his word, which he pronounced against us, and against our judges that judge Israel, and against our kings and our princes, and against the men of Israel and Judah, to bring upon us great plagues, such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses, that a man should eat the flesh of his own son and the flesh of his own daughter." Right? Hey, so cannibalism coming back. This is how great that famine is going to be. And when you read verse 1, it says the kings and the judges, you understand, the priests, these are mighty men. You may have mighty men who kind of looking at their son in a different light now. He might have been mighty, prophesying, shaking their hand, edifying the sheep, getting on the heathen, rebuking America, which is Babylon the Great. Hey, but in that day, faith is gonna be tested, and daddy's little boy or daddy's little princess gonna, be fooled, man, in that day. Right? So it's gonna be a great family, man. But you got it.
Con. I'm gonna go to the classic, right? First Kings chapter 6 and verse 25. So like your Second Kings 6 and verse 25. Right? And it reads, "And there was a great famine in Samaria." You can read about that in the 6th chapter and in the 7th chapter. It says, Behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the fourth part of cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver, man. And man, this account never gets old because it's coming back on the earth. A lot of people think that you're going to eat forever and you're going to have fun forever, and the Lord is just going to have things comfortable for you forever, man. I mean, who are you to have things comfortable for you, man? You're no greater than Moses. Moses was getting murmured at. And the Lord sought to kill Moses when he was in the end, when he wasn't circumcised, man. Right, the 4th chapter. So the Lord will pull up on you, man. The Lord had Yahweh sweat and blood. That's his only begotten son. The Lord killed Ezekiel's wife. The Lord had Isaiah walk around naked, right? The Lord put Jeremiah in the stocks. The Lord put Daniel in the lion's den. The Lord gonna get up with you, man. He's gonna test you, man. He's gonna put you in the fire. You're not gonna always go down to the 7-Eleven, the Costco's, the Food Lion, the damn grocery store, the Safeway, the Giant, the Kroger's, and get your nice chocolate bar that you like with the almonds, man. When you had a rough day, you want to treat yourself when you're getting gas. So you go inside the damn place and you get your chocolate almond that you like, man, or your Skittles. You're not gonna be able to do that, man. It's gonna come a time where all hell is gonna literally be on the earth, and meat is gonna be at an all-time high, man. I mean, they're gonna sell burgers for $35 a burger. You know, steaks and meats for $200-300, and only the rich and the elites are gonna subconsciously be able to survive, man. If the Lord isn't with you, it says what? And the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall. There cried a woman unto him, saying, Help me, my Lord, O king. And he said, If the Lord doeth not help thee, whence shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor or out of the wine press? So the king told, look, if the Lord not helping you, why am I going to help you, man? You think your neighbor is going to be nice to you? Like the brother said, the one that let you borrow the gardening tools or the sugar when you got the Kool-Aid, or the damn jelly when you got the peanut butter, right? Or some chicken, right? Because they outside grilling and you smell it, right? He call you downstairs, he hit the broom, right? He knocking it up, right? You're more than welcome, right? No, it's not going to happen like that, man. Read 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter. I'm going to get this quick precept real fast. And when these things begin to happen, Jake can't lose faith, because a lot of brothers are going to lose faith and they're going to think that the Lord is with them. But it's not that the Lord isn't with you, it's that prophecies coming to pass. If somebody break inside your house during those days, take all your food and beat you up, well, brother, that's prophecy. You can't say, well, I'm judged, I'm doomed, and you start sweating and you damn put yourself to death, or you cast away the Lord in all faith. Brother, the more prophecy you know, the more you be able to understand what's happening on the earth, man. That's like understanding your car. When all those little lights come on, you say, now, what is that light? What is that orange light? What's the green light? What is that red light? You don't know what none of the lights mean. You just sitting up there driving like a fool, man. And when your engine starts smoking and your car starts jacking up, man, going left to right, and man, you brought that upon yourself because you wasn't watching. You wasn't making sure that the car was in running conditions. The same way, you have to literally look at the signs. Okay, my engine light is on. Okay, I'm running out of gas. Okay, my transmission is slipping. Okay, I need a new car. I need all of these different things. You evaluate the situation, not that you're being judged. You watched, you prepared, you studied, you understand your car, and you understand the trouble that's before you. That's how men have to be in this thing. Let me get this quick precept in 2nd Esdras chapter 16. It's 2nd Esdras, right? Chapter 16 and verse number 46. For strangers shall reap their fruits and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses, and take their children captives. For in captivity and famine, they get children. So slavery is going to be a big commodity in Jacob's trouble, right? Don't just think slavery, you got so-called white man, you got a whip, right? You got to be all daggone stereotypical with it, man. I mean, women are going to be a hot commodity. If you don't have a husband or protection or the Lord, you're going to be a slave. They're going to take you. They're going to abuse you. They're going to use you. They're going to take children, whether they eat them, whether they use them to carry their bags so they can save energy and drink water, and use them like camels and donkeys. That's what donkeys and camels are used for, to literally lighten a burden for man. That's what people are going to be used for. They're not taking captive all of these children to feed the homeless and the sick, man. right? Little Vaughn is hungry, and you see him out there, and you take him captive. You give him a hug. You take him captive unto you. It's not what that's talking about, man. They're literally going to be captive, and they're going to follow you, man. I know brother seen the book of Eli. I mean, he was trying to take women captive in that movie, man. It says what? And they that occupy merchandise with robbery and more, they deck their cities, their houses, their possessions, and their own persons. The more I will be angry with them for their sins, saith the Lord. Like as a whore envieth a righteous, Salaki, a right, honest, and virtuous woman, so shall the righteous hate iniquity when she decketh herself, and shall accuse her to her face. When he cometh, shall defend him, and diligently search out every sin upon the earth. So the Lord's coming out to seek every matter, and he's going to recompense man, according to his doings. You got it.
This is the book of Job, chapter 5, and verse 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Hey, so if that's your lot, the Lord can going to deliver you out of that thing, man. The Lord can deliver us out of these great famines, right? Like your brother was going into, you can't say, like I said, it's prophecy. You can't be thinking, oh, it's a famine, I'm hungry, what am I going to do? Hey, you already know what to do, man. Call upon the precepts tell you what to do. Call upon the name of the Lord, right, and have faith, man, and believe in this thing. Don't think that, because you haven't eaten. You may go, the Lord can try you. You may go 3 days without food, and on that 4th day he'll come through. You may go 4 days, the Lord can probably have it where you ain't ate in 10 days, but you feel hungry. You're not, you feel full. You're not even hungry, man. Right? Another precept, this is 1 Kings, and we kind of touched on it, but I want to bring it out. 1 Kings chapter 17. 1 Kings 17 and verse 1. And it reads, And Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitant of Gilead, said unto Ahab, As the Lord Yahweh of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there should not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Get thee hence, and turn thee eastward, and hide thyself by the brook Chariots that is before Jordan. And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. Right, so during the time of famine, the Lord commanded the ravens to feed Elijah, man. You understand me? It says, So he went and did according to the word of the Lord, for he went and dwelt by the brook Chariots that is before Jordan. And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. Hey, so while everybody going through a famine, starving, right? Cannibalism is at an all-time high. Hey, the Lord have angels come and feed you flesh and bread and water, man. You can be damn eating good. Whatever your favorite meal is, man. You can be eating good, man. The Lord can don't hook it up. It's cooked just perfect. It's right. Hey, and the ravens came and brought it to you perfectly, man. While everybody else starving and screaming, and you just getting fat. Right? I'm going to jump to 1 Kings, the 19th chapter. This is 1 Kings 19 and verse, I'll start at verse, I'm going to start at verse 4. 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 4. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness, and came and sat down under a juniper tree, and he requested for himself that he might die, and said, It is enough now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am not better than my fathers. Right? And you may start to lose faith. You may lose faith. You may feel like, man, I'm probably not worthy enough. I'm probably not righteous enough. The Lord's not dealing with me like he was dealing with David and Solomon and, all our forefathers. You may feel that way, man. You understand? You might say, just this famine is too much for me to bear. Just kill me now. Just take me out my misery. Verse 5. And as he lay and slept under a juniper tree, behold, then an angel touched him and said unto him, Arise and eat. And he looked, and behold, there was a cake baking on the coals, and a cruse of water at his head. And he did eat and drink, and laid him down again. Right? So I said, the angels can give you cake, man. Damn cake. You eating dessert with damn crumbs all over your mouth. And everybody is, all hell's breaking loose outside. Dying, famine, people, their body eating at each other. Eating at itself. You know, the wife looking at the husband crazy, the husband looking at the children crazy, children plotting on the mom, and you eating a damn cake given to you by the holy angels, man. You got it, brother. You on mute, King.
Count the water. This 2 Samuel chapter 17 and verse 22. It says, Then David arose and all the people that were with him, and they passed over Jordan by the morning light. There lacked not one of them that was not gone over Jordan, man. It says there lacked not one of them that was not gone over Jordan. Jumping down to verse 27. And it came to pass when David was come to Mahanaim, Shabana the son of Nishri, and Rabbi the son of Ammon, and Mishkar the son of Ammonah, and Lodabar, and Barzillai the Gileonite, and Rophlim brought beds and basins, and earthen vessels, and wheat, and barley, and flour, and parched corn, and beans, and lentils, and parched pulse, and honey, and butter, and sheep, and cheese of kine for David, for the people that were with him to eat. For they said the people is hungry and weary and thirsty in the wilderness, man. So the Lord felt that the Lord fed David and the people. So I mean, the Lord can have anything happen to you, man. He can have the heathen and treat thee well. I mean, you read about that in Jeremiah the 40th chapter. Hey, damn near Jeremiah was telling the heathens what to do, man. This is Jeremiah chapter 39 and verse number 11. Now Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, gave charge concerning Jeremiah to Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, saying, Take him and look well to him, and do him no harm, but do unto him even as he shall say unto thee, man. So Jeremiah was telling the heathens what to do, man. Hey, I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. And the Lord take care of his servants in captivity. So you got to understand this thing. When you go to Jeremiah chapter 40 and verse 4, it says, And now behold, I loose thee this day from the chains which were upon thy hand, if it seem good unto thee to come with me into Babylon. Come, and I will look well unto thee. So the Lord can have the heathens looking well unto you, man. It don't even have to be an event where a damn crows or a dove or a lion or zebras or damn mountain lions or something like it. Don't even have to be something like that. The Lord can do anything. He can have a heathen just throw you a loaf of bread, trip and fall, backpack hanging off, or give you flashlights, weapons, and all type of things and tents. It says, Babylon, and I will look well unto thee. But if it seem ill to thee to come unto me into Babylon, forbear. Behold, all the land is before thee, whether it seemeth good and convenient for thee to go thither, go, man. And that's how the Lord is going to get down and help you understand Israel that's keeping the commandments. And we could go back to it. You on mute, King.
Stop. Second Esdras chapter 6. We got 22. Second Esdras 6 and 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid.
Right, and that trumpet is the sound, Salaki. And that trumpet is not talking about World War III. Because as you read from 20 all the way down, it's going into Jacob's trouble, man. All throughout right now, the Lord is sounding the alarm. He'll sound it via the prophets. He'll sound it via the chauffeur. He'll sound it via a watchtower. You understand? So when that thing actually kick off and these things are coming to pass, you're going to know about it and be afraid. Right, read on.
Verse 23, verse 24. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run.
Right. And that's talking about the famine of the word, man. It's not going to forever be the knowledge of the Lord out here. That's why you have to take advantage while you have it. And that's not talking about just reading a verse of the day or just reading what's convenient unto you or how you feel about it, man. There's going to be a time where freedom of speech is cut down low. It's already happening in China. It's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to go out there like you could have and visit the prophets, got their numbers, got in touch with them, hit up the emails, hit up the brothers, hit up the sisters, form a brotherhood in a congregation. You're going to be out there all because you just wanted to be a keyboard warrior, man. All this time, the Lord said, gathered ourselves together. You just think that's talking about the kingdom. No. That's talking about the kingdom. No. That's talking about the day of the Lord. When he puts it all together. No brother gathered together now. You never know how much a brother can actually help you in this truth. If you don't know how to break down something, if you need somebody to fast with, you need prayer, you need to confide in a brother, you need counsel. Hey, the Lord set that up, man. You have to take advantage of that and the words of life before it all gets stripped from you, man. They're not going to continue to print. You think in World War III and Jacob's Trouble, they're going to be printing out apocryphas? You think they're going to be printing out Bibles? No, man. You got to get stocked up, man. Right now, and literally prepare yourself. Like the Lord said, a wise man is going to foresee evil, man, and hide himself. I want to get this quick precept. This second Esdras, chapter 5 and verse, right, number 9. And salt water should be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, meaning knowledge, and understanding withdraw itself into its secret chamber. So wisdom has its own chamber where it derives from the third heaven, from the throne of the Lord, and shall be sought of many, like they're going to run to and fro, like you read about in Amos, the 8th chapter, and yet not be found. And that sounds scary, man. I can't imagine waking up and not having a Bible to read, man. Not having a video to watch, not having a phone I could call somebody and confide or act about a precept or get another witness on this. And I can't imagine that, man. That's hell on earth. Then shall unrighteousness and inconsistency be multiplied upon the earth. You got it.
This is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priests, and counsel from the ancients. Right, so you may seek your vision. You may try to go to Baltimore, find brothers, come to Cleveland, look for us. You may go to Orlando, Detroit, Philly, hey, Houston, where they at, hey, and you can realize, hey, no one's there, man. No one's about to break these things down to you. You understand? Like it's like so like let me just get it. I'm not recording. This is Matthew chapter 25. Right? This is Matthew chapter 25, and I'm gonna jump to verse 9. I'll start at verse 7. Matthew 25 and 7. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps, and the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. And that oil is that knowledge. When you read Proverbs 21 and 20. So the foolish, hey, and you once had the oil. The foolish once had the oil. This is like the brothers said, the damn keyboard warriors, man. Right? This is the brothers, who kind of falling out this thing, who being slothful in this thing. Hey, your oil gonna run out, and it says, and the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go you rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. Hey, you gonna be telling brothers no, man. Telling sisters no, get out of here, man. You trying to seek the answer, trying to wonder. Here we did thousands of damn cold cuts. Had to break down a whole book of Revelation multiple times, and Jacob's trouble's picking off. All hell breaking loose, and you're asking what seal we in. Like we about to just be breaking down the seals, precept upon precept, and give you a damn 2-hour Monday night fire. Right? That's not about to happen, man, during Jacob's trouble. We're not doing that. Time is up. And I wanted to get another precept because it's like y'all dropped it. Because the scriptures say, hey man, friends shall fight one against another like enemies. This is Isaiah chapter 9. And the Apostle Paul spoke on traitors. That's not like something, that's going to happen, man. This is Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 19. Through the wrath of the Lord of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother. Hey, so you're not going to spare, hopefully not us, but hey, men going to be killing their own brothers in that day. Like I said, you're going to see a different side of your neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it may be a brother that you may be out camp at teaching with, man. He may be the reader. He may be another teacher. He may be the cameraman. Hey, he gonna turn on you that day, man. They turned on the Lord. How much more of us? You understand me? So even like I quote earlier, Acts 12, when they killed when Esau killed James, it pleased the Jews. You understand? Then he said, "Oh, they like this. Let me go arrest Peter, man." Hey, so you have your own people kind of turning back on you. I want to get one more precept. This is First Maccabees chapter 7 and verse. I'm gonna start at 23. First Maccabees 7 and 23. Now when Judas saw all the mischief that Alchemist and his company had done among the Israelites, even above the heathen. So you're gonna have some people and they do that damn now, man. Amongst the Israelites, you got brothers who do worse than the heathen, man. You got people, Jakes out here who rob, who steal, who kill their own people, selling drugs, game banking, just being a damn demon throughout the neighborhood or community, worse than the heathen. How much more in that day? You know what I'm saying? Jake can have a TV in his house and break in your house and steal your TV. So what you think gonna happen when Jake has no food in the house, man? He gonna break in your house and get you up out of there. So you're gonna have some people worse. Hey, some brothers gonna be worse than the damn heathen. What you got it, King?
Come. I want to touch on that too. The second Maccabees 4 and verse 2. Thus was he bold to call him a traitor, that he had deserved well of the city, and tendered his own nation, and was so zealous of the law, man. You have certain people that are traitors. So people want to betray you, man. Stop putting so much trust in man. And we don't trust man. If you trust man, you're a fool, man. We put all our trust in the Lord. Because man is subject to spirits and demons and plagues, and is subject to fall and be dependent on a God. The Lord isn't subject to anything. He's the King of Kings, man. So we don't put trust in man. Yeah, we help one another. We want one another to prevail. We pray for one another, but we don't put trust in man and make man our arm and our strength. Like read about in Jeremiah, right, 17 and 5. We can go back to it.
This is Second Esdras chapter 6. Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 23, 24. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run.
Right, I want to touch on that real fast. That quick little part in Song of Solomon, the 4th chapter. The springs of water are talking about the knowledge, right? I want to get that real fast. Right, this Song of Solomon, chapter 4, right, and verse number 12. A garden enclosed is my sister, my spouse. A spring shut, a fountain sealed. So when the Lord actually kicked that thing off and sealed that fountain, you're not going to no more be able to get the understanding of the Lord. And nobody knows the day nor the hour that it's going to come to pass, but it's coming to pass. It says, thy plants are in the orchard of pomegranates with pleasant fruits, camphire with spinyard, and spinyard with saffron, and cambrius and cinnamon. And when you go on a deeper breakdown and level to all of these different spices, they help infirmities and inflammation. When you actually take these different cinnamons, these different herbs, and these different spices, man, they help with inflammation. Now, on a spiritual level, if the Lord is all these spices, like you read about in Sirach, the 24th chapter, look how beat down the body of the saints is. Look how beat down our minds and our souls and our spirits are, how these herbs and these things can heal us, man. It isn't just the Lord smelling like frankincense and myrrh and cinnamon and damn spinyard, man. Yeah, he does, but nevertheless, it's a deeper and spiritual meaning. Because when you take certain oils and ointments and herbs, it heals you like the apothecaries, and they know what certain things to take. Like you have elderberry, you have turmeric, you have certain herbs and things that heal your body. And when you go into a lot of these different herbs, they're for inflammation. Now, if your inflammation, you're sitting up there, you're swollen, you hurt, you ache, You got pains. You can't walk. You can't move. That's a lot of people in the spirit. They're poor. They're lame. They're blind. They need help, and the Lord heals them because He's the ultimate. You understand? He's the ultimate one, man. He's gonna heal you, man. I mean, no doctor. He uses the hands of the physicians. You understand? In the operating tables and things. How much more the Lord? Like the Lord said, His word cureth all things. Right? I just wanted to bring that up.
Precept on the spring of water. It's Isaiah 35 and verse 5. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Then shall the lame man leap as an hart, and the tongue of the dumb and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. Hey, and this is the wilderness. America is the wilderness, where it's a dry land, no wisdom, no knowledge. You understand me? No knowledge of the Most High. But Lord said, it is the waters is gonna break forth, man. You understand me? So when we read Second Esdras 6, and it talks about the waters being still for 3 hours. That 3 hours not being literal, but that three being emphasis, man. I mean, no wisdom, no knowledge is gonna be, gonna come forth in that day.
That's right. That's right. We can go back to it.
Yeah. This is
You got another precept?
I can go back to it. This is Second Esdras 6 and verse 25. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape see my salvation at the end of your world.
Right. Everybody not going to escape and see the salvation. Everybody talking about the day of the Lord, but it's going to be a lot of people that don't see the day of the Lord, man. That's not going to be able to endure or be able to live that far. You know how long it's going to take for all this thing to come to pass and for things to happen. I was just thinking about and I'm gonna do a breakdown on it if it be the Lord's will. How long it's going to actually take to build up the kingdom of heaven? Because it's not going to be overnight. We literally have to. It's so many steps when you actually go into this thing in prophecy. From us getting the word to the Lord and our inward parts and the laws in the second wilderness to the Lord mapping out, you understand, the hit squad and the mighty men to go hunt down the heathens, to us actually get into the various places of the parts of the earth, right? Rounding up the heathens, putting them in pits, dragging them to Jerusalem, and then we're gonna have to beat them, and then they're gonna have to build up ships. They're gonna have to build their own slave ships. Then we're going to have thousands and thousands of slave ships to voyage and go throughout the earth then to pick up and drag these heathens, man. They're not going to get beamed up into the kingdom. We're not going to walk all of these different heathens to the kingdom of heaven. That would be madness. You have to travel over mountains and seas and different things like that. We're going to go on slave voyages like we did from old when we were slaves. And it's going to be multiple voyages like it was during the time of the Babylonian Empire, like it was during the time of the transatlantic slave trade, man. It wasn't one big ship. Everybody on the board, then everybody just hop on the damn ship, man. No, it's going to be multiple slave voyages, multiple passages. And then you're going to have to set them in order and then have them build. So this thing is going to come to pass, man. How much more in the days of trouble and vengeance? It's not just going to sprout and be a snap of a finger and be fast like you want it to be or like you think it's going to be, man. It's going to be a strenuous, long process of prophecy and different things coming to pass. And the more you know about prophecy and how to put it in order, the more you're going to know the time frame and how these things have to come to pass and what's next to come to pass. When you go to Second Esdras, chapter 13 and verse, I'm going to start at, this whole thing is crazy. I'm going to start at 25. It says, this is the meaning of the vision, where thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea. The same is he whom the highest have kept a great season, which by his own self have delivered his creature. And he, Salaki, bear with me. I'm going to go back to that precept. Salaki, bear with me. Second Esdras, chapter 13, and verse, I'm going to start at 26. The same is whom God thou highest hath kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and shall order them that are left behind. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came a blast of wind and the fire and storm. Right? So I mean, you're gonna have certain people left behind in this thing, man. You're gonna have certain people beamed up, some people destroyed. Hey, it's gonna be a blessing to be able to endure to go all the way to the end to see the coming of the Lord, man. Bro, I
Con,
want to get another quick precept real fast. This is the book of Second Esdras 13 and 23. He that shall endure the perilous and the time have kept himself, and they be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith toward the Almighty. Know this therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead, man. So you're gonna literally be more blessed. You understand? If you see the Lord. Yeah, you could die, you could be a martyr, you could be put to death, you could be slain, right? You can go through all hell and vengeance and die a mighty death and be beheaded. That's beautiful, man. Nevertheless, you're gonna be more blessed if you live to see the day of the Lord, man. You got it, King.
this second Ezra chapter 5, verse 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the days shall come that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. But iniquity shall be increased above that which thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. And the land that thou seest now to have root shall thou see wasted suddenly. But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day. Right, like you guys said, you're gonna go through a lot of hell, trials, tribulations. We spoke on famine, race wars. Spoke on friends turning against one another like enemies. Lord put a spirit on a damn beast to come out. A famine of the word. World War III. If you're able to endure all of that, hey, then you will start to see the sunshine, man, and the moon, and you'll start to have hope in this thing. If you
Right.
get to the third trump, you may actually get delivered. That's what pretty much the Lord is saying, because all the hell that's gonna fall upon the earth, most men not gonna make it out of that. And this is another quick precept. It's Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 6. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Right, so only a few men gonna make it out of here, man. Only a few men will make it. Will survive the destruction that's coming upon Babylon the Great, and the righteous will scarcely be saved, man. You're
Right.
gonna barely make it out by the skin of your teeth. You thinking it's over. You know what I'm saying? You might have got beat up. You might have got robbed. Your family might have abandoned you. You starving. You pretty much about to die from famine, and next thing you know, you're getting beamed up. You barely made it out. So if the righteous scarcely be saved, how much more, hey, the rest of these people, man. You understand? Like the scriptures say in Revelation, the 11th chapter. Let me get that. Because if you're here, when them chariots beam up the elect, if you're left, you're going to die. It just is what it is. This is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 13. And it reads, and the same hour was there a great earthquake. Right, the earthquake is the effect from missiles touching hidden Babylon, man. It says, and the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake was slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were frightened and gave glory to the God of heaven. Right, so when it said the 10th part of the city fell, it's not literal. The Lord is not going to divide a literal city up. The city is Babylon the Great. 10th part is just completion, right? 10 is completion. And then 7,000 men going to be slain, and everybody who's left here in America is going to die, man. All the Edomites here in America are going to die. All the nations that's here are going to die. 2/3 are going to be put away, And I want to get just a quick precept for the 10. I just thought it was better. I'm going to go here. This is Sirach chapter 25. I believe it's verse. Right, it's a lot of precepts, but it's Sirach chapter 25, verse 7. And it reads, there be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemies. Right, so hey, the 10 is completion. That 10th thing just completed it. That's in man's heart to be happy, and that's to see the downfall of our enemies, man. Right, Baruch 4:28, roughly paraphrasing, basically, you come back to the Lord, go 10 times harder, man. You know, so I can get one more precept.
Bring it out.
I'm thinking about a lot of precepts. This is Genesis chapter 31 and verse 7. This is Genesis chapter 31 and verse 7, and it reads, dealing with Jacob, right? Jacob and what's his name? Laban or Laban. This is Genesis 31 and 7. And your father have deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, but Yahweh suffered him not to hurt me. Right, so his wages didn't literally get changed 10 times. You understand me? Just a number of completion. So the 10th part of the city, I mean the whole kingdom gonna be destroyed. 7, another number of completion. I mean, everybody that's here gonna get put to death, man. The Lord is only gonna save the remnant. You got it, King.
Right, we can go back to it. Right? I mean, the brothers is letting you know, plain upon tables, that, hey man, we living in the end of the world. And brothers gotta sincerely get their spirits right if they're gonna think to look forward to the coming of our Lord and Savior Yahushua.
Now, this is 2nd Esdras chapter 6, and we left out at 25. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your word. And the men that are received shall see it, who have not tasted death from their birth. And the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning.
Right, and that's talking about the elect, like Mark chapter 9 and verse 1. There be some standing here which shall not taste of death, which have not tasted it, from the time that they were born, paraphrasing. It's not talking about men never died. It's their spirit. And whenever you die and you give up the physical ghost, or you go back to the third heaven, you come back and you literally live in that same lot that you live, because you always lived. And what makes you live? Believing in Yahushua, which gives you life. So even though you come back and you die physically, the death of man on a physical body, yet your spirit lives because it believes in Yahushua from the very foundation. Or you can read on.
Verse 27, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared.
Right, and that's talking about in the kingdom, huh? Right, it says, as for faith, it shall flourish. What is that talking about? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 27. That fruit is going to actually flourish throughout all the four corners of the earth, man. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 27 and verse number 5. And it reads, oh, let him take hold of my strength, that he may make peace with me, and he shall make peace with me. He shall cause them that come of Jacob to take root. Israel shall blossom and bud and fill the face of the world with fruit. So we're going to grow as a nation all over again. All the souls that were dead, we're going to grow with knowledge and understanding in that fruit. You understand? From that tree of life, we're going to have all of these different things, and we're going to be able to flourish in this thing, man. We're not bringing forth any fruit in this land. And I want to get that in the book of Ezekiel, the 17th chapter. Like when we were slaves under the Babylonian Empire. He set us in a fruitful field, but yet we didn't bring forth any fruit. We were set as a willow tree. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel real fast. It's the book of Ezekiel, right, chapter 17, right, and I'm going to start at verse number 2, right, and it reads, I'm going to start at verse number 4. He cropped off the top of the young twigs and carried it into a land of traffic, talking about Babylon, right, in the King Joachim. And he set it in a city of merchants, right, which is Babylon. He took also the seed of the land and planted it in a fruitful field. So Babylon was fruitful because why? It had everything you could wish, just like this land. It may appear fruitful, it may have ships, it may have merchandise, gold, silver, it may have iron and ink and money, it may have all of the things that keep a society flourishing, but nevertheless, he placed it by great waters and set it as a willow tree. So we can't grow in this place because it has tainted waters, tainted fruits, tainted things of this land which appear to be sown and bring forth, but nevertheless to the righteous, it's not for our well-being, man. The Lord said, "Plant upon tables," and that day, meaning in the kingdom, we're going to finally take root. This isn't your rest, man. No matter how much money you get, Jake, you're not bringing forth any fruit. No matter how much riches you accumulate, how much fame and how many cars and boats you drive, this is not your rest, and this is not your fruit, and this is not your water, man. The Lord's going to give us our due portion in the kingdom.
I got this Isaiah 58 verse 11. And the Lord shall guide thee continually and satisfy thy soul in drought. And this is a drought. The brother said there's no truth here. You know, there's no water. There's a famine, like it says in Revelation 12 and 14. Right? It's like pretty much like a desert, man. Like it says in Revelation 12 and 14. Right? It says, and the Lord shall guide thee continually and satisfy thy soul in drought and make fat thy bones, and thou shalt be like a watered garden and like a spring of water whose waters fail not. Right. So in the kingdom, man, our water is not going to fail. We're going to have that infinite wisdom, infinite knowledge. Like in Revelation 12, the woman was clothed with the sun and moon. Right. This is Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 28. It's like 26. Isaiah 30 and 26. Moreover, the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold as the light of 7 days. And the day that the Lord bindeth up the breach of his people and healeth the stroke of their wounds. So when the Lord finally heals us, when we're in the kingdom, right, and we have that rest, like we read about in Isaiah 14, when we're ruling over our oppressors, the Lord going to increase our light, increase our wisdom. You understand me? Right now, Esau got the light on the left-hand side. You understand me? That's why, it's scripture in Isaiah 14 and 12, called him Lucifer, man. Meaning light bearer. You understand? But the Lord said in Job 18 and 5, he's going to take that light out by taking away their knowledge. But the light is going to be with the elect. The light going to be with the children of Israel again. What you got?
We can go back to it.
Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 27. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And when he talked with me, behold, I looked by little and little upon him before whom I stood. And these words said he unto me, I am come to show thee the time of the night to come. If thou wilt pray yet more and fast 7 days again, I shall tell thee greater things by day, and then I have heard.
Right, and that's going to Proverbs, the 2nd chapter, crying out for wisdom, doing everything you can do to obtain it, man. The Lord isn't just going to give you wisdom. Right. Just here you go. You have to work for the thing. Now, essentially, there's certain men that are elected to have certain spirits and knowledge, but nevertheless, those spirits, they earn it. They work for it. They pray for it. They fast for it. They read for it, man. I mean, there's certain things that brothers may teach and brothers may write breakdowns in, but then there's certain things that Yahweh comes down and sups with you through the flesh, you understand, through knocking at your mind, your door, and entering into you and teaching you these things firsthand. So, I mean, I'm gonna get a quick precept, right? And after this, we can kind of flow through the chapter. I want to finish this by the night. The rest of it's pretty plain, going into the creation. But nevertheless, I'll get this quick precept in Daniel. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get 2nd Esdras. Right, let's go to 2nd Esdras chapter 12. in verse. This whole thing is crazy. I'm going to start at 4. Second Esdras 12 and 4. Lo, this thou hast done unto me, and thou searchest out the ways of the highest. Lo, I am weary in my mind, and very weak in my spirit, and little strength is in me for the great fear wherein I was affrighted this night. Therefore, I will now beseech the highest that he will comfort me unto the end. So, I mean, when Ezra was getting these breakdowns, he was crying out to the Lord. He was weary in the flesh. He was about to pass out, just like Daniel. Daniel 7 and 15 all the way down, and various other precepts in the spirit. So when these prophets, they got these breakdowns and these revelations, and they cried out for him, man. Hey, Ezra sat in the field and ate flowers. He fasted for days. They actually cried out for this knowledge, like I said, like you read about in Proverbs, the 2nd chapter. But you can read on, King.
I got a quick precept. This
Oh.
is James chapter 1 and verse 5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. Right? So, like Brother Gone, you got to ask and pray to the Lord for that understanding, man. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 6 and verse 31. 2nd Esdras 6 and 31. If thou wilt pray yet more and fast 7 days again, I shall tell thee greater things by day than I have heard. For thy voice is heard before the Most High, for the mighty have seen thy righteousness, thy righteous dealings. He have seen also thy charity, which thou hast had ever since thy youth. And therefore hath he sent me to show thee all things, and to say unto thee, be of good comfort and fear not. And hast it not with thee times that are past, to think vain things, that thou mayest not hasten from the latter times. And it came to pass after this that I wept again and fasted 7 days in like manner, that I might fulfill the 3 weeks which he told me. And in the 8th night was my heart vexed within me again, and I began to speak before the Most High. For my spirit was greatly set on fire, and my soul was in distress. And I said, O Lord, thou spakest from the beginning of the creation, even the first day, and saidest thus, let heaven and earth be made, and thy word was a perfect work. And then was the spirit and darkness and silence were on every side. The sound of man's voice was not yet formed. Then commandest thou a fair light to come forth of thy treasures, that thy work might appear.
Right, and I want to make a quick thing real fast. And all throughout, when you read the scriptures, you got to hear about the Lord's treasures, right? And that's literally where the Lord's pull his works out of, man. You read about that in Job, right? Chapter 39. So like in chapter 38. You read about that in Jeremiah, the 10th chapter. 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter. You read about his treasures all throughout the Bible, and his miracles and his works that he pulls out of these treasures to make, his works appear. Because essentially this was before the sun was out, man. Before he formed the sun. So he pulled light out of the treasures. Right, let me get this quick precept. I'll go to the book of Job. Mighty book of Job. It's the book of Job, right? Chapter 38 and verse number 22. Hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow, or hast thou seen the treasures of the hill? Meaning, where's the Lord pulling all of this stuff from, man? I mean, where's it coming? He's pulling it out of his treasures. The Lord speaks things, it comes to pass, and his works appear from under his treasures, man. When you go to Jeremiah, I want to get this quick precept too in Jeremiah. Right, this is Jeremiah, right? So like you there, Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse, I'm gonna start at 12, right? And it reads, he hath made the earth by his power, he hath established the world by his wisdom, and he hath stretched out the heavens by his decree. right? Destruction. And he hath his voice and multitude of waters in heaven, and he caused vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightning with rain. He bringeth forth the wind out of his treasures. So you have wind, hail, fire. I mean, how do these things exist and where do they come from? They're coming out of the Lord's treasures. Now, there's no in-depth breakdown on what the treasure is, where it's at, when does the Lord call it, where does he pull it from? You don't want to get too deep. Nevertheless, the Lord has his treasures, and nobody knows what's in these treasures. We just know what he tells man. We don't know. I mean, Jacob bugged themselves out trying to figure this thing out, man. You'll never know the works of the Lord. But you got it.
Two quick precepts. This is Jeremiah 4:23. I behold the earth, and lo, it was without form and void, and the heavens and in the heavens, and they had no light. Right. So they're going to it's made pretty much made out of darkness, man. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 6. For Yahweh, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, have shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh in the face of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Right. So just out of pure darkness, he just made the light, man. Like we read about in 2 Esdras 6 and 40. So you want to go back?
Come, we can go back to it.
All right, come. This 2 Esdras 6 and verse 41. And it says, upon the second day thou madest the spirit of the firmament, and commandest it to part asunder, and to make a division betwixt the waters, that the one part might go up, and the other remain beneath.
Right, and that's the book of Psalms, chapter 24. Right? Let me get that real fast. Book of Psalms, chapter 24 and verse 2. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 24 and verse number 2. And it reads, Shalaki, bear with me. For he hath founded it upon the sea and established it upon the floods. So that's plain, man. The Lord established the land, understand, upon the seas, and he made a division betwixt, right, in the creation.
Okay. This is Psalms chapter 148 and verse 4. And it reads, praise him, ye heavens of heavens, and ye waters that be above the heavens. Okay, so you got waters above the heavens.
Right. And those waters above the heavens. Let's go to 2 Esdras 4 and 7. Real fast. It's 2 Esdras 4 and verse 7. Right? And it reads, it says, and he said unto me, if thou ask thee how great dwellings are in the midst of the sea, or how many springs are in the beginning of the deep, or how many springs are above the firmament. So you have many springs above the firmament. It just isn't a sea up there. You're just looking at the sea right above the front. No, you have springs. Like you have a Niagara Fall, right? You got a so-called mountains and different terrains and flourishes and mountain brooks. I mean, you have that right above our heads, but nobody's gonna be able to see that. That's the works of the Lord that go unnoticed. Just like that worm in the wilderness, or that newly created creature somewhere on the earth that no man has ever laid eyes on, or that insect, or that creature down in the ocean that no man has ever seen. Those are the works and creations of the Lord. The Lord don't have you to look at all his creation. It's still coming to pass, man. You got it.
This is Revelation chapter 15. I'll just start at verse 2. Get to the point. Revelation 15 and 2. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Yahweh. So it says, and I saw as it were a sea of glass. Right, that's because the firmament is a glass. When Job 37 and 18, and you got the waters above the firmament, and it says mingle with fire, because that's how much fire going to get Babylon the Great, to the point where it's going to reaching the damn firmament, man. You understand? Right. This is quick precept. Job 37 and 18. Has thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong and as a molten looking glass. Right, so that firmament is a thick glass, man, that only Yahweh, Basham Yahweh, and the angels can get through, man.
Okay. We can go back to it.
Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse
42.
okay, God.
Salaki, you could read 41 again.
41. God. And it says in a second Esdras 6 and 41, upon the second day thou madest the spirit of the firmament, and commandest it to part asunder, and to make a division betwixt the waters, and the one part might go up, and the other remain beneath. Upon the third day thou didst command that the waters should be gathered in the seventh part of the earth. 6 parts hast thou dried up, and kept them, to the intent that of these some being planted of God, until might serve thee. For as soon as thy word went forth, the work was made. For immediately there was great and innumerable fruit, and many and diverse pleasures for the taste and flowers of unchangeable color, and odors of wonderful smell. And this was done the third day.
Right, meaning it all came to pass immediately. Like immediately, there wasn't just one fish, and then so like it 2 fish, and then 2 fish. They multiplied, and then they multiplied and multiplied. It wasn't just two beings on the earth, a man and a woman, then they just multiplied. No, the Lord created multiple men at one time, multiple fish at one time, multiple diverse fruits at one time, multiple plants, multiple animals, and multiple creatures at one time. And immediately these things happened. It came to pass. Immediately there was a great innumerable fruit, and many and diverse pleasures, for the taste and the flower of unchangeable color, and the odors of wonderful smell. And this was done by the third day. You got it.
John. Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 45. Upon the fourth day thou commandest that the sun should shine, and the moon give her light, and the stars should be in order, and gavest them a charge to do service unto men that was to be made.
Right. And I want to get a quick precept on that. I mean, it's various precepts, we could pull, but nevertheless, I want to get this quick precept. Right. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 148. Right. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 148. Shalaki 147 and verse. I'm gonna start it on 4. He telleth the number of the stars, he calleth them all by their names. So there's an innumerable amount of stars, but the Lord, he numbers each one of the stars by name, man. It isn't a star that the Lord doesn't know about. And on a deeper level, we know that the sun, the moon, and the stars, they all serve their offices. The sun, the moon, the stars. You got the moon, that's for the days, and it's for the months. Then you got the sun, is for time. In the ancient world, they had a sundial. What literally they would have a sundial in the middle of the streets, and whatever the sun would hit, that shadow would bounce off of it, and it'll tell you the time of the day. And you can even look at the sun now and tell the time of the day. I mean, when the sun is setting, you kids getting out of school or whatever the case may be, you could kind of look at the sun and tell the time. Oh, it's about 5 o'clock. Or the sun going down, it's about 6:30. Or the sun's just coming up. It's damn near about 5:45 in the morning. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I mean, the sun's literally you got the moon right from the crescent all the way to the full till it goes all the way back down again. Right, full being the middle of the month, all the way back down to the beginning of the month. Then you have the different stars, which would come for the different seasons. Right, you got so-called, the white man would break it down as, you got the Leo, and there's no such thing as Leo, but the stars aligning in the sky in that season brings forth the lion in the sky. Now they'll look at the stars and say, you know what, it looks like a lion. But in actuality, it's that season that stars coming into play. Because you have Martyrs, you got Arcturus, you have these different stars. And Arcturus is the biggest star in the firmament. A lot of people think it's a damn chariot. Every single time you see Arcturus, that's the chariot. That's a chariot. But brother, that's Arcturus. You got different stars that are out there. Nevertheless, different seasons are going to bring forth different constellations. That's why, the so-called white man is made up zodiac signs. Not that there's a such thing, but the different month that you're born in, you will look up and there'll be different constellations correlating to that month and in that season. So if you were out in the wilderness, you should be able to look up at the stars and the sun and the moon to know what season it is, to know what month it is, and to know what time it is. You understand? Just by reading, what the Lord has set in the firmament before you. You shouldn't be like, damn, it's hot. I don't know if it's the springtime or the summertime. Them itching and scratching and trying to figure out the matter. What's getting cold? Is it wintertime yet? Is it still fall? Like the Lord set up everything in its proper order. Well, I want to get one more precept on that. All right, it's the book of Sirach, chapter 40. Salakia. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 42, verse 22. How desirable are all his works, and that a man may see even to a spark. All these things live and remain forever. For all use they are all obedient. All things are double once against another, and he have made nothing imperfect. So the Lord made everything to stand in his order and his different watches. So everything is in a complete, circle going around and around through the spirit of the Lord. You also read about that in Sirach, the 16th chapter. Let me get this real fast. Sirach, chapter 16, and verse. I'm gonna jump to verse this whole thing. I'm gonna start at 22, right? This Sirach. I'm gonna get straight to the point. I'm gonna jump down to 27. He have garnished his works forever, and his hand are the chief of them unto all generations. They neither labor nor are weary nor cease from their works. So they don't cease from their works, all the creations of the Lord. The only thing that's going to cease is Esau.
Right. This is Sirach chapter 43 and verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season, for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon, from the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. Right. So, like we read in Sirach 6, everything has a charge, man. They all have a reason. The moon, you can tell the signs. Like the brother said, the sun, you can tell. The moon, you can tell the signs. You can tell the season. You can tell by the feast. You can tell the month. Right. The beginning of the month is the moon. You can tell the what time it is by the sun, the time of day. The sun actually is spinning while going in rotation. When you read Wisdom of Solomon. So everything is in order, man. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 17. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 17. For he hath given, speaking of Solomon, for he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements, the beginning, ending, and midst of the times, the alterations of the turning of the sun and the charge of seasons. Right? So the sun is pretty much turning, like Esau said, the damn earth is spinning, but really it's the sun. The sun is spinning. And while also going, in a full circle. So let me get this in First Esdras. This is First Esdras chapter 4, and it's also in Ecclesiastes. This is First Esdras 4 and 34. This is First Esdras chapter 4, yeah, and verse 34. O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth, high is the heaven, swift is the sun in his course. For he compasseth the heavens round about, and fetcheth his course again to his own place in one day. Right. So one day the sun go through his whole course and get back to his original spot all in one day. So you can tell the sun you can tell the time of the day by the sun, because the sun is gonna come back up. He go through his whole course all in one day, man. So they're not just up there just to be up there, just to damn look at.
That was a mighty precept.
So,
We can get back to it.
this is Second Esdras chapter 6. And we look at verse 46. Second Esdras 6 and 46, and gave them a charge to do service unto men that was to be made. Verse 47. Upon the 5th day thou saidest unto the 7th part, where the waters were gathered, that it should bring forth living creatures, fowls and fishes, and so it came to pass. For the dumb water and without life brought forth living things at the commandment of Yahweh Bashan Yahushua, that all people might praise thy wondrous works. Then didst thou ordain 2 living creatures, that one, the one that calls Enoch, and the other Leviathan.
Right. Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 40, and verse number 15. And for everybody that's just saying that this isn't literal and this is just talking about Esau, and well, that's off, man. Well, they will have to explain how literally the day that they were born to the day that man came about. They will have to answer that. They will have to answer the days, which were the 5th to the 6th, if this is man. They will have to explain why one part is over the water and the other is on land. And who are these two? They will have to break this thing down. So it's a lot of seducing doctrines in the last days. Nevertheless, in certain contexts, Leviathan is known as Esau in certain contexts, like Isaiah 27 and 1. But nevertheless, you understand that this thing, we got to go into it. Let's go to the book of Job. Right, chapter 40, and I'm going to start at verse 15. Salaki, bear with me. And it reads, Behold, now Behemoth, which I made with thee, he eateth grass as an ox. Now, a lot of the strongest animals, they eat grass. You got gorillas, they eat grass, right? You got so-called elephants and what is it called? With the long giraffes. You got all of these different creatures, they eat grass. And they're the top strongest animals. Well, you don't have to eat meat to be the strongest. At one point in time, the lions, they used to eat straw and grass in the ancient world. That's how Noah got them all on the ark at the same time. He was trying to think about why the lion wasn't devouring the sheep. Or, the leopard was just sitting there trying to damn attack the gazelle. Because they all at one point in time, they didn't eat meat. Everybody ate vegetation. And it's going to go right back to that same spirit in the kingdom of heaven, man. Read about that in Isaiah, the 11th chapter. This is the book of Job, chapter 40, and verse number 6. Lo, now his strength is in his loins, and his force is in the navel of his belly. He moveth his tail like a cedar. The shrines of his stones are wrapped together. Right? Like your shrines are like your veins and your muscle and your tissue. It says it's wrapped together like stones, man. If somebody were to actually see Enoch, right, Behemoth, they would lose their minds. And where's Behemoth at? At the land of 1,000 hills. Where is this at, man? Who's ever been to the land of 1,000 hills? Esau tries to make you feel like he's been there through movies like Jurassic Park. He goes to an island that nobody's ever been to, and he sees creatures that nobody's ever seen, man. Man, Esau reads the Bible. Esau knows what's going on, man. Stop thinking Esau is just pink and hairy. The Lord said, will I not even destroy the wise men out of Edom? Meaning the sorcerers, the wizards, the warlocks. It's not necessarily talking about the scientists, the theologians, and the philosophers, and all of these different men, man. And the Epicureans. It's not going into that. So you have certain men that are wise. They understand what's going on. It's always a just balance. You have the righteous, you have the wicked. Nevertheless, you have the elite of the righteous and the elite of the wicked. The elite of the righteous are taking notes. They're on fire. They're teaching. They're prophesying. The elite of the wicked, They're somewhere conjuring up spirits, demons. Don't think that Pharaoh didn't have wise men that turned snakes. It turned them rods into snakes too, man. Wasn't blowing fire out of their mouths and having a course in things double to that which is, just like you would appear of things on the righteous. So all of these things are happening. So there's parts of the earth that have never been inhabited. I want to go to the book of Second Esdras chapter 2, right? In verse number 17. I want to get this quick precept. The Second Esdras chapter 2 and verse number 17. Fear not, Salaki. I'm going to start at 18. For thy help I will send thy servants, Essay, meaning Isaiah, and Jeremy, meaning Jeremiah, after those whose counsel I have sanctified and prepared for thee 12 trees laden with diverse fruits. Right? And that's for the kingdom of heaven. Right? And it says what? As for many fountains flowing with milk and honey, meaning the knowledge and understanding of the Lord, many fountains, and 7 mighty mountains, whereupon there grow roses and lilies, whereby I will fill thy children with joy. So the Lord's going to fill his children, meaning the elect, on 7 mighty mountains. It's not talking about Mount Everest. Those mighty mountains are places that have never been inhabited. 7 is the number of completion, and mountain is just a large landmass. So there's going to be places in the kingdom that we're going to be able to inhabit it that have never been inhabited. Maybe the Lord will show us more creatures that we've never seen before, different places. I always say there's a place on earth right now that you can go to that has pink sand, black sand beaches. You can go to certain places like the Amazon and see different creatures and snakes with diverse colors. And you can do this now. You can go to Puerto Rico and see clear through the sea. How much more in the kingdom of heaven, huh? You got it.
Got a quick preset. This is Psalms 104 and 25. I'll start 24. O Lord, how manifold are thy works. In wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches. So is the great and wide sea, wherein are things creeping innumerable, both small and great beasts. There go the ships, where is that Leviathan, whom thou hast made to play therein. Hey, so Leviathan is such a damn huge damn sea creature that he can play with the ships. These damn submarines that you, especially when you read Revelation 8th chapter, a Leviathan can play with them things, man. Damn, like kids play with toys in the bath. So this is this is real, man. You understand? That's all I had, okay.
Con. And that's a fact, man. Because I mean, essentially, when you think about it, man, who knows the bottom of the sea? Nobody knows it. The sea is like a mountain. It may go up, it may go down. There is no bottom of the ocean, man. Stop thinking you've reached the bottom. No, you've reached the terrain that's flat, but you can keep going down, man. That's why they tell you at the so-called beach that don't go so far because hey, the land will damn drop and you'll really be in the ocean. And that's not even the ocean. That's the beginning of the ocean. And that thing gets deeper and it gets deeper and it gets deeper. Just like the knowledge of the Lord. You may think you know a breakdown, but nobody knows the Bible on an infinite level, man. Because I mean, who can really remember all of the names and genealogies? Who can really remember all of the different places and maps and journeys? I mean, nobody's the Lord, man. So when we actually thinking about this thing, you got Enoch, which is Behemoth, and Leviathan, and the Lord split them up on 2 parts because they couldn't literally be on land at the same time or on the sea at the same time because they're such large creatures. I want to go back to the book of Job real fast and finish that off. 40 and verse number 18. His bones are as strong pieces of brass. His bones are as bars of iron. He is the chief of the ways of God. He hath made him, can make his sword to approach him. So nobody can take down these creatures, man. Surely the mountain bringeth forth food where all the beasts of the field play. He lieth under the shady trees. and covereth of the reed of the fence. The shade trees cover him with the shadow. The willows of the brooks can pass him about. Right? And that's not talking about that he's literally under the shade of all of these trees, meaning he's blending in like camouflage. Because a willow tree is a very short tree and it's bowing down and it looks sad. So he's blending in with all of these trees. You have like a chameleon, I believe that's the name of it. It could blend in different environments, right? You got an octopus, right? You got certain creatures like a snake. They'll be in the Amazon right beside you, and you don't even see them. So a Leviathan, so like Behemoth, he's in this place of the land of 1,000 hills, man. It says, I'm gonna start at verse 22. The shady trees cover him with the shadow. The willows of the brooks compass him about. Behold, he drinketh up a river and hasteth not. He trusteth that he can draw up the Jordan in his mouth, man. So the whole Jordan, he'll drink it all up in his mouth. And you know, when you thirsty, you get you a cup of water. So, I mean, essentially, Behemoth, he could drink the whole Jordan River up if he was thirsty. It says, Salaki, he taketh it with his eyes. His nose pierceth through snares, man. So when you want to end that breakdown of these creatures, I believe one of the mighty brothers did one on the channel. I think Naquam did one. And on top of that, if not, brother may touch on that again. But nevertheless, you got Job, the 40th chapter, right? You got Job, the 41st chapter, second Esdras, the 6th chapter, and you could dive straight into that thing. But we can get back to it though.
Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 49. And it reads, Then didst thou ordain two living creatures, the one thou calledst Enoch and the other Leviathan, and didst separate the one from the other, for the seventh part, namely, where the waters was gathered together, might not hold them both. Unto Enoch thou gavest one part which was dried up the third day, that he should dwell in the same part, wherein are 1,000 hills. But unto Leviathan thou gavest the seventh part, namely the moist, and has kept him to be devoured, of whom thou wilt and when. Upon the sixth day thou gavest commandment unto the earth, that before thee it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest, Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I Oh, this is shotgun. All this have I spoken before thee, O all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us, and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the
Con,
world?
Salaki King, you could break it down.
Verse 59. If the world now be made for our sake, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? Right. So basically, Esdras is basically saying, if we're the chosen people of the Most High God, we're your only begotten, your firstborn, right? We're the greatest people on the earth. That not even in the other nations aren't even worthy to be compared to us because they are less than nothing. But they rule over us, man. I think we went into earlier on a live. Our forefathers always looking and seeking and hasting the second coming of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, looking for new heavens and new earth. And that's the same spirit Ezra's in right now. We're saying, how long shall this endure, man? How long we gonna be at the bottom with servants ruling over us? I'll get a quick precept. This is Lamentation, we're a classic one. This is Lamentation chapter 5. in verse 7. Lamentation chapter 5, verse 7. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquity. Servants have ruled over us. There is none that doeth deliver us out of their hand. Right. So servants are ruling over us. Men that we should be ruling over, men that we should, reign over. We should be kings over. Not but then they kings over us and they devour us. And we want to know, man, to spare how long should this last, man? Like when will we be delivered?
Con. That's right. That's right. So, this was the breakdown of second Esdras, the 6th chapter, right? Going into the beginning, the end, and midst of times. Going into Behemoth, Leviathan, right there. Days to come, Jacob's trouble, vengeance, all hell breaking loose. So, brothers, Lord willing, brothers, take notes, got these precepts down, was in the spirit the whole time, right? Taking this thing serious and understanding the times to come. Lord willing, next Monday, if we here, we're going to jump into second Esdras, the 7th chapter, until we complete the whole book of second Esdras. And Lord willing, we're going to do more continuations, right? We may jump into the book of Revelations. We did the book of Daniel. We may jump into, various other books pertaining to how the spirit may lead. But nevertheless, right, this was the breakdown of second Esdras, the 6th chapter. If you new watching the channel, or if you don't know the number by heart, we do a Q&A after every call. The conference call number, I'm posting it right now, is 213-603-9096. 213-603-9096. And the PIN number to go with that is 9480-9305. And me and the rest of the brothers, we answer questions right after the call. If brothers have any questions, comments, or concerns, pertaining to the lesson or anything they need questions answering. So again, I'm gonna post the numbers real fast, the conference call number, right, and the PIN number. Right, I'm gonna get a closing precept. You wanna get a closing precept, King? Can I bring it up? It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse 2. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before God. Right? So the Lord said, plain upon tables, to be watchful and strengthen the things which remain. So a lot of people need to strengthen up whatever's failing and waxing worse upon them every single day of their life, whether it be the reading, your brotherly love, your charity, your endurance, right? Your behavior, your discernment, how wise you are, how you treat your husband, how you treat your wives, how you treat the congregation, how you treat your brother. All of these things are very important that we have to hone in on in the last days. It says what? For I have not found thy works perfect before God. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come unto thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So if you're not watching and staying diligent, the Lord is going to visit you like a thief in the night, and he's going to blow your candlestick out.
This second Esdras, right? Second Esdras 14 and verse 10. For the world have lost his youth, and the times began to wax old. For the world is divided into 12 parts, and the 10th part of it are gone already, and the half of a 10th part. And there remaineth that which is after the half of the 10th part. Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Right? So, we got not even minutes, seconds left in this thing, man. And when it's time, when there's only a few seconds left on the clock, that's when brothers go their hardest, man. Damn, in football, you got the 2-minute drill. Saying basketball, you got 24 seconds, might have 3 seconds left, and you got to be focused and making sure you're getting everything together, man. And first thing it said was get your households in order. You understand? Rule your men rule your house with wisdom and knowledge and meekness. You understand, and be a king in your house, man. Right? And women, get in order, be righteous, rule over the children. You understand? Guide your house, like it says in First Timothy 5:14. Order your house aright, like it says in Sirach 26:16. Children get in order. That's getting your household in order. And it says renounce corruption, which through the spirit we did today. Renounce corruption. And it says reprove thy people and comfort such of them that be in trouble, right? So we gotta reprove our people, reprove them, correct them, and get them back to turn them back to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I'm gonna read one more verse. It says, let go from the mortal thoughts and cast away the burdens of men. Put off now the weak nature. So you gotta be a man in this thing, man. Put away the weak nature, your worldly thoughts, whatever, your stresses, and be tapped in, completely tapped in and focused and singled out on the kingdom, man.
Con. And with that, brothers want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, his brother Raya.
Brother Hawad.
Shalom.
Shalom.